Don't listen to him. YOURE my light at the end of the tunnel. You make me so happy and I love you wholeheartedly. I will always be here for you. I love you so much and will always ride for you.
Fuck, okay. Hello. Hello. Hi. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. I don't even know what to say. What do I do? Guys, what am I supposed to say? What am I supposed to do? I forgot to stream. Every single time, man. This time wasn't even a fucking what's it called? I'm already forgetting how to speak in English, man. It wasn't even a fucking wanted hiatus this time, man. It just happened, and I don't know. I forgot. I forgot how to stream. Fuck. I got too comfortable with recording. Sleepy Dupad asked me, "Does Shamey want to marry me?" Sleepy Dupad, you think you can handle all this shame? I mean, it would be a wild ride full of spicy humor and chaotic vibes, but no promises, Carino. Shamey's heart belongs to the stream and everyone who makes me laugh with their wild antics. Plus, I'm more into marrying a burrito right now. What the fuck? What the fuck, bro? What the frick? What the frick? What the frick was that? That's fucking weird. Oh my god.
Souls
Hi,
just subscribed. Papish 11 Mobian.
Huh? Wait, what? Oh, okay. I thought you said mommy. Like, huh? Oh my god. The redeem is finally working? Yes, it's finally working. It's finally working. No, I'm sorry, dude. Oh no! Please don't cry. Don't cry. I'll cry. Please, I'll cry if you cry. Please don't cry. You know, I would never answer like that. What the fuck? That's fucking bullshit, man. Okay, but on a general overall like setting, yes, I would. But we could start. Bad Bunny is a greedy man. What the fuck, man? Hi. I don't even know what to say, and this is how we start the fucking stream. Oh my god. God damn it. Shamey, you stink, motherfucker. Impossible! I fucking showered today. What the fuck? Oh my god. Hi, Gorilla. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Worm. Hi, Bad Bunny is the worst singer alive, right? No! No, he's not. Hi, Soul. Hi, Jack. Hi, Megalodon. Hi, dude. Hi. How are you guys doing? Sorry. I literally started streaming. I went AFK because I had to take a piss. And then I had to also bring Ellie with me to my room because she's... Guys, I swear to God, I wish I was confident enough to be a flesh tuber, because if I was a webcam streamer, guys, I would constantly show you guys Ellie and how she just stares at me. Like, she's literally laying down and she's looking at me concerned because she's like, so you're talking to the computer again. Are you okay? You haven't done this in a long time. Are you forgetting your medication again? She's so concerned, dude. She's my baby girl, though. How are you guys doing? I missed you guys so much. I missed you
Great
guys. So
Megalodon 603 asked me, do it jiggle? Carino, you're asking if it jiggles. Well, I gotta say, everything about this shamey jiggly and wiggly, especially when the beats drop and I start dancing like there's no mañana. But you know what jiggles even more? My laughter when y'all make me laugh with your wild antics in chat. Keep it fun. Keep it spicy.
I fucking can't. Why? Why do I always say spicy, man? What the
I don't think I'd marry Do really, cause she can't cook. But Gorilla, on the other hand, would be a great wife. And anyway,
You know-
I want to have.
Here's the thing, though. I can cook. I don't mind cooking. Oh my god.
How are you doing, Mommy Shamey?
No, don't call me mommy. Don't call me mommy. Don't call me mommy. Call me papi. Oh my gosh, wait, okay. I love how you guys have this undying war against each other about who loves me more. Like, what the frick is happening? Guys, I love you guys so much. Wait, am I muted? Can you guys hear me? I love hearing that voice. Stop. Stop. I'm not used to this anymore. Oh my god. Oh my god. Wait. I also wanted to say thank you so much for the resubs. For the resubs. I think. Thank you. You guys didn't have to. But I yes, I love you. Thank you.
The great Megalodon 6003 asked me, out of everyone in chat, who is your favorite child? Oh, I choosing your
God.
favorite child. That's like choosing my favorite taco. Impossible. Every one of you brings your own
fuck?
fun and chaos to the chat, and I love you all for it. Just keep bringing that wild energy, and I'll keep jiggling and wiggling with laughter. But if we're talking food, burritos might just win.
Bro, why is she talking like I'm a fucking Mexican? Okay, don't hear me out. There's nothing wrong with being a Mexican, but I ain't a fucking Mexican, bro.
And
I should be-
that's exactly why Gorilla would be a better wife, because Gorilla and I can cook, and he can get down on all five.
What? Wait, what does that mean? Get down on all five? What? What the fuck does that mean?
I'm gonna stay calling you mommy. You can't stop me.
Stop it. You guys are gonna kill me. Stop it. I love you guys so much. Oh my god, I miss you guys so much. I really don't know what to say. I'm sorry. Okay, so first of all, oh my god, hi. Hi guys. It's been almost a month since I've been gone. Holy shit. It literally feels like back when I started streaming, dude. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say, dude. Wait. Okay. Anyways. Okay, sorry. I just saw a message. I'm sorry. I'm closing Discord. I'm closing Discord. Okay. Anyways. What was I saying? Okay, yes. I might fuck. I might not be myself for a few days, if that's okay, guys. I'm gonna be very, very, very low on energy. I've been
Jack
very
Jackal
sick.
136 asked me, do
and-
I stay calling Shamey mommy? Carino, if calling me mommy makes you happy, go for it. Just be ready for all the chaos that comes with it. But remember, it's all love and laughs here on the Shamey stream. Keep the vibes fun and spicy.
I mean, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. Oh my god. I'm so excited for, yeah, you know what? I'm not even gonna. I can't get down on all 7. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? Oh my god. Ah, ahora sí te gusta, ¿verdad? Porque cuando te conviene te gusta, pero si no te conviene no te gusta. Mámame la crica, cabrón. Mámame la crica. Anyways, as I was saying, sorry. Wow, I had a moment right there. Oof, sorry. Oof. Okay. Yeah, I don't even know anymore. You guys bring a side of me that I've never. You know what? No, I can't lie. That's not true. I've always been like this. Fuck. God damn it. Oh my god. What's with you guys having this war, man? What is happening? I'm literally just a piece of shit, man. I'm just a piece of shit. Oh my god, here, I'm gonna give you guys ASMR. Monk root beer. I love monk root beer. Oh my god, okay. Anyways, it's been so fucking long since I've been live streaming. But I've been editing so fucking much, dude. Not the caramel dance song, man. I can't right now. It's gonna distract me. There we go. Okay.
ASMR from you is awesome.
I don't know about that. I'm a very amateur, mediocre ASMR. I'm eating. Buen provecho, mon. But yeah, I've gotten more used to being like on camera, but like recording more than I have. At least for this month, I've gotten more used to recording than I have streaming, which is kind of sad because I'm don't get me wrong, recording and creating content for YouTube's actually really fun and I enjoy it, but streaming is where
ASMR from you is awesome, Shamey.
streaming is where my passion is, you know. Like I get so depressed when I don't stream, but whether if it was for good decisions or not, I don't know how to explain this. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I'm still glad that I've been putting so much more time into YouTube and Twitter to kind of expand and grow on those platforms, even though I'm not really. I mean, we did make it to 200 subscribers on YouTube, which I'm really, really happy about. Thank you guys so much. But yeah, I really hope you guys been enjoying the little shorts that I've been posting. And hi, Daddy Fat Sack, how are you? Welcome, I missed you. And then the last 2 videos, I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I loved making them, but I definitely enjoyed I enjoyed the last one better because editing was it was just really funny. The ASMR, it was the first time I've ever done ASMR and I was all alone in my room and it was just me, the camera, and my mic, and obviously like the things that I had. That shit was the most awkward thing I've ever done in my life. Holy shit. Editing it was also very awkward because I kept cringing and I'm like, man, no one's gonna fucking like this. No one's gonna fucking watch this fucking bullshit ass fucking mediocre video. Like, this is bad, bro. This is bad ASMR. I even did my homework before I did it because, again, I've never done it before. So I did my homework and I watched a few ASMR content creators. I was like, damn, okay, they make it so good, and like they know what they're doing, you know. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Our video was the fucking best. We loved it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I beg to differ because, like, it sounds coughed, man. Like, I didn't mean to burp, but I did, and I didn't want to re-record it again. I just kept on rolling it. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna fucking add it. Because, you know, why not? Why not make it funny? Fuck it. I'm not a professional ASMR person, but I'll make it comedic. But yeah, how you guys been? I missed you guys so much. I don't even know what to say anymore. The coping is crazy, not gonna lie. Wait, what? Huh?
I love the burp. I will kill you in DBD again.
No, you won't. Oh my god. I might, oh my gosh. Yes, another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was the, well, actually a lot of things. Oh my god. There's a lot of things that I would like to, talk to you guys about and catch up on. But one of the thing is, since we're talking about ASMR and whatnot, is since my subathon's coming very soon. I think it's next week. Is it next week? Oh, yeah, it's next week. Holy shit. Yeah, subathon's next week. We need to talk about that because I came up with a few redeems to like goals and shit that we can like do. But I also want to ask you guys, what do you guys think we could add? Because I'm not sure. This is my second subathon I've ever done. Oh my god, ew. No.
0_Menzo could just subscribe.
Shamey, I
Redeemed
will
his
kill you in
nuts.
DBD if you stream.
Oh my god. Love it. I fucking love it. I love coming. I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much for the fucking 18 months. It's crazy, dude. How are you, Zito? I'm so proud of you, dude. Like, I know it's kind of stupid and silly, but I'm really proud of you because you've been popping off on stream, bro. And you've been doing this more consistently. You're doing amazing. And I'm really proud of you. Yeah, we also need to talk about our next collab so we can finish Terraria. Okay. So today, I'm sorry, I'm still sick. I'm gonna be very, not gonna lie, that kind of scared me. Today, again, I apologize. I'm gonna be very low energy today. Not just today, for a few days, god damn it. I'm still sick and recovering and just not completely 100% myself yet. And I am sorry. I will do my best to provide the content that you guys deserve. Today we are gonna try a new game.
Tasted delicious last night when I killed you in DBD last night. Shamey Papish, 11 strawberry milkies.
What the fuck? I'm glad I'm delicious. Oh my god. So we can kill the goblin army? Hell yeah, we can kill the goblin army. I don't think, did I see them? I think I saw them. It's okay. Shall we I don't know. Hi, Kazik. Hi. How are you? Oh my gosh. Guys, I missed you guys. Oh my god. But yes, today we're gonna be trying Mage Arena. We're gonna be playing it with none other than. Can you guys take a guess? Can you guys take a guess? There's a few people that are gonna be playing with us. And I'm trying to find the stream right now. Hold on. No. Kasik, did you know that your fucking clip that you made of me farting is almost at like 1,000? You fucking crazy bitch. Nice, very nice. Hi, Aylon. Hi, ¿cómo está? Hola, Lonnie. No, we're not playing with Emery. But I fucking reached out to Emery, I don't know how long ago. I asked her to do a P collab with me, and she hasn't gone back to me. I wish I get it. I mean, I don't blame her. She's very busy. You know, she's big and busy. She's big and busy.
Cherry?
Huh? What? I noticed I have a clip leader badge. I know! I know, dude! That's like almost 1,000! Fuck! Dude, I think at this point that clip's gonna get 1,000 fucking views before I get to fucking... I don't even know. That clip's probably gonna get fucking 1,000 views before I get back on my consistent streaming schedule. That's so sad. That's actually so fucking sad. Okay. No, but today... What the frick? Saint Jimmy, ¿cómo está? Hi. Tu rockero mexicano está aquí. ¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo está? Eso me recuerda a la canción de Rockstar de Junior H. Dame ponerla. I love that song so much. I fucking love that song. Here you go. This is your song. This is your theme song. Yeah. And if this ain't it, then what the fuck happened, Kasik? What you do? What you saying? Asmo! Hi! Oh my gosh, I missed you! How are you? How are you? I'm so happy to see you! But yeah, this is your song. No me sé la canción, pero sé que me gusta mucho esta canción, pero no me sé fucking letra. Para que me leas sin discusiones, si prendemos los balones, lo hacemos con canciones. No creo en el amor, podemos ser libres de los errores. I fucking love that song. Dude, my tail is always having fucking seizures. My tail has its own fucking brain and shit. Also, how are you, Void? Hi. Not to find it for me again. Stop. You're gonna make me cry. Guys, at this point, no. Today, you guys are not allowed to... You guys are not allowed to say anything nice to me, okay? I'm gonna cry. Stop.
Your phone
Hello?
is ringing.
No shit. No shit's ringing. What the fuck? I think you're supposed to say something, like as if I'm answering the phone. Oh my god. But yes, please don't be nice tonight, guys. I'm gonna cry. Oh my god. I'm just happy to be here, you know. I just want to see you guys. I want to hang out with you guys. I know we're gonna be playing games with some friends, but you guys know me. I'm always gonna be looking at you, and I'm always gonna be reading you. I'm always gonna be trying my best to involve you guys in everything. I have so many, dude. I may have been away for a month, but I've been cooking so much shit. Like I don't even want to talk about it, because every time I come back, I talk about it, and then I don't do it until last minute, and then something happens where I have to take a fucking hiatus, and then it doesn't happen, and I come back, and it's this fucking cycle, man. And it's this stupid fucking cycle. So I'm just gonna shut the fuck up. I'm just gonna shut the fuck up and just hang out with you guys here. Oh my gosh, wait. No, stop. Are you guys excited for my debut subathon? I'm so excited to start. Oh my god, dude. I'm so excited to use my model, dude. Oh my god. I've had her ready in the chamber for like 3 months now, dude. Not 3 months, but almost 3 months. It's almost been 3 months since I've had it, and anytime I'm off stream, because I don't want to leak it, you know, like I don't want to just accidentally show it to you guys. I want to keep it a surprise. But I'm so excited, dude. Anytime I'm off stream and I have my VTube studio on, I pull it out and I think Venom took my... Fuck! I think Venom licked my thoughts away. I don't... Help! Help! Wayne! You fucking pervert. You fucking pervert. What the fuck were you doing, What were you doing last night, You were jerking off again? To Discord Kittens Eagles? No! No. You guys will never get any spicy fun art from me. If you guys ever find any spicy fun art of Papi Chami, it'll probably be from degenerate, perverted people like you. All you'll ever get from me is soft I don't know. I don't even know. I'm just in the comment I put in your short. You know, there's a reason why I'm a demon. I'm short because I'm close to hell. So I'm a demon. And I will drag you down with me, motherfricker. I'm never nice. Good, thank you. Makes my day a little better every time I see Papi stream. Stop!
Stop! Eat your organs again, Shamey?
Stop it. You're gonna make me cry. Now you guys are doing this shit on purpose. But you're beautiful and awesome. No, not. No, I'm not. Fucking liar. Fucking liar. A month, that's just noob numbers compared to other
Crow is Shark
kinds
just
of...
subscribed.
I mean, just...
Mashukalo, oi, mashukalo, ta cruz owl, mashukalo.
What the fuck was that? Oi, oi,
Now we just love Dia and I'm your wife, so I have to.
I love you too. I love you too. Oh my, what nice things like pretty you sing. I don't sing nice. Nah.
Are you ready
No.
for me to be a dick to you instead of being nice to you?
Yes. I am very ready. I'm very ready. Those things are Guys, I'm gonna literally melt, turn into a fucking ball, and I don't know if it's gonna be a slime ball. I don't know if it's gonna be a combo. I don't know if it's gonna be a snot ball. I don't know what it is. Okay, because those are the things that I'm full of in the inside. But I'm going to melt. I'm gonna turn into a small little ball, and I'm gonna melt again, right? And I'm going to reshape into another ball. And I'm gonna go up your ass, okay? And those compliments are gonna be taken back from you, okay? Okay? So basically, your compliments are going out of your mouth hole and they're gonna be going into your asshole. Okay? Am I making myself clear?
TikTok on the clock, but the party don't stop. No. Oh ooh, oh ooh, whoa, oh oh ooh, oh ooh, whoa, oh, don't stop.
What the
Don't stop.
fuck?
DJ, blow my speakers up tonight. I'ma fight till we see the sunlight. TikTok on the clock, but the party don't stop. No. Oh ooh, oh ooh, whoa, oh oh ooh, oh ooh, whoa, oh.
Oh my god. It got looked so good. I stole her brain. For real, dude. For real. Holy shit. Guys, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to cough on you, on your face. I'm just, I'm still sick. Please bear with me. Please bear with me. Would you get sick for me and take the sickness away from me? Please. Please. I'm just trying to survive. I'm just trying to survive. Oh my god. I'm dying. I'm dying. What do you mean? Wait. Oh yeah. How do you just forget? Oh my god, what happened? Do you care to explain how you got hacked? Do you care to explain?
Suck my dick.
Yes, I like to suck my own dick. Softcore spicy? I don't even know, man. I don't even know what it's called. There's an example in the I commissioned it like last year, I think. But the picture's still in the server somewhere in the NSFW fan arts, I think, or something like that. I don't know. Short, more energy. Okay, like, I mean, I guess it's true, but I, like I said, guys, just please bear with me for the next few days before the subathon. I'm gonna be very low energy, cause I've been sick and just been going through a lot. So, yeah, I apologize. But I'm gonna be trying my best. Okay, I'm always trying my best. Isaac, also, thank you so much for the holy shit, the 22 month streak. Holy fuck. Spacey, hi. Hi, Spacey. How are you? Let me just. Oh my god. What?
I'm trying to find ways to bully. I don't even know if I'm doing it correctly.
Good luck. Good luck. Shami wants to be anal beats then. How dare you expose me like that? What the fuck? How fucking dare you come into my chat after almost an hour and you expose me like that? Don't threaten me with a good time. You guys are fucking freaks, bro. I'm not 15 minutes behind chat. I'm fucking dying. Okay? Stop licking me! Stop. Oh my god, I literally don't know how. I just woke up to so many messages this morning asking if I got hacked. Oh. Wait. Wait, what? Normally you just get, you know, it must have been your spirit, man. Your spirit probably came out of your body and did it for you.
Asked me, you smell like a dumpster, Shamey? Aye, Jack. That's the spicy energy I love coming at me with that chaos.
Huh?
But let me tell you, this dumpster's still got more flavor than you can handle. Keep it coming. We're all about the wild vibes here.
What the fuck? No. What the fuck was that? Thank you. Oh my god, hold on, let me see if the venom links get. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Thank you. It helped a little bit with itching my brain. You guys, oh my god, I saw this one video of an anime. I'm not gonna say names because I don't wanna, I don't wanna support this kind of stuff. But it's very gory.
Has asked me, have you ever had a dream that you could do so you
Yes.
do you want him to do you so much you could do anything? Wait, Carino, sounds like you had one of those wild dreams where nothing quite makes sense. I've been there too, dreaming about all kinds of crazy adventures and spicy scenarios.
All the time.
Sometimes you
Wait,
just wake up
what?
wondering what on earth your brain was up to. Keep those little chaotic party in your mind, just like this stream.
Cheese.
Yeah. What the fuck? Why'd you make me say What the fuck, bro? You guys are wilding today, man.
I think the
Wait.
Ask AI Shamey Redeem needs to be fixed.
Oh my god, no. I Pirate is summoning you? Oh my god. Can you tell me why the fuck was I was perfectly fucking synced? Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Oh my god, she actually joined. That's
I smell a boy.
What?
Nothing. Hi.
You ain't smelling boy, girl. You
I smell bitch
man.
boy.
You smell man.
I smell.
Can't say shit. You both got a good fart clip. Okay. Now hold on.
I've been having your stream open, by the way.
I have your stream open too, so I can read your chat.
Also, why am I so small? What the frick? Sorry.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
because the one you were hiding.
Oh, true.
You just haven't been back on, so I haven't fixed it.
Look how big you are in my stream.
I don't even see me.
It's loading.
Oh. Dude, I thought a raccoon just ran across my fucking leg and it was just my leg moving. I'm fucking tripping the fuck out. Oh my god, that scared the shit out of me.
What the fuck are you on, bro?
Nothing. I'm on the drug of life.
But life sucks.
What are we talking about farting kips lately? I'm not on cat therapy.
What is cat therapy?
I'll tell you about it some other time. I just went on this whole fucking thing about it.
They so quiet. Oh shit. Wait. Renji, can you say something?
Only if you ask nicely.
Can you... Fucking hell. Fuck. Galileo, Galileo, Galileo Figaro. I'm just a poor boy, nobody loves me. Okay,
We were
now
just
we're good.
both talking about. We were talking about the other day our fart clips.
Who?
Me and you.
Oh, yeah, we were. Can we not talk about those?
Why? You don't want to talk about the fart clip? You love my fart clip so fucking
No,
much.
I did. No. I never said I fucking love it. I thought it was fucking funny.
His own leg. What a fucking pussy.
Yeah, I think your fart clip's fucking funny too.
Okay, well, yours is funnier because you're like, oh, I didn't fart.
I got embarrassed. Okay.
There's no shame in farting. Just fucking own it.
It surprised me.
Why would I surprise you? It came out of your fucking hole. Like, do you ever
just
feel
love
your
it.
farts
You
brewing inside of you?
Had a fart? You never had a fucking fart that's just been like, whoa, when did that happen? I didn't even know that was coming.
No, I feel my farts brewing inside of me and then they come out. And I know when they come
Sometimes I
out.
just fart, man. That's just sometimes some shit that fucking happens. Everybody farts.
Okay,
That's
but you,
offensive.
the thing about you is that you didn't own it. You got embarrassed. And then you were like,
Because
I
wasn't
didn't fucking fart.
expecting the fart. And then when you're not, listen, what is your immediate fallback when you just something surprises you and you're fucking question on it? You deny.
I don't ever deny I start laughing! It's because you're a bitch boy.
Suck my cock. Own the fart clip now, Shammy. It's in your chat. Oh yeah.
Listen, I've already owned it, okay? I don't need to be owning it. I don't need to be owning shit.
But Shammy, what happened to not denying? Just own that shit. It's a clip forever now.
Well, I've already came to... Yes.
Well, that was fast.
Oh my gosh, no, but... I'm gonna tell them, fuck it.
See, this is why I send Poppy the pickup lines, and why Poppy also DMs me, "Hey yo, bitch boy, mommy needs her fucking."
I don't ever say that!
streams to get her motor going.
Bro, you're so... That's fucking bullshit.
You
Stop
see how
fucking lying.
flustered she gets? How fucking like stuttering she gets and shit?
I'm not stuttering! I'm saying you're fucking lying!
Me lie?
You're
That's
fucking
crazy.
lying. You're
I'm
fucking lying.
offended that you would accuse me of that.
Oh yeah, so you lied about your fucking fart. Why would you not lie about something else? I swear
I
to
wasn't
God,
lying.
I see your fucking face. I
was
see your
denying.
face.
I was
I'm
denying.
looking at
I
your
was
stream.
Not lying. Please
Can you fart
get
into
it
the mic,
right.
Shammy, please?
You've seen the screenshot, Sham. Yeah, I've seen the screenshots. Had to look up. Wait, hold on.
Okay, anyways, it's actually all 5. I'm pretty sure one of them is named something that is deceiving. Huh? Wait, what happening? Show me in your top 5 clips of all times. 4 of them are farts. Bro, okay, no, listen. One of them is not even an actual fart. No.
Do we need to pull up Shammy's fucking...
One of them is not actually a fart. It was my chair making a noise, and someone thought it was a fart.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
Fuck you, man.
Just own it, Shammy. Just own your farts.
I'm not gonna own one that is
What happened
that.
to owning it?
I'm not gonna own something that didn't come out of me.
Uh-huh.
What the fuck?
Oh, and that's why you fucking got me pregnant and left for milk and cigarettes? You're not gonna own something because it didn't come out of you?
It didn't come out of me. Technically, it's coming out of you.
Yeah, but you put it in me.
Yeah, I put it in you. It didn't come out of me.
Anywho,
Exactly.
no, we could talk about that. I don't get me on this shit. That would go in a very politically charged direction that I don't think we should go
Breaking
with.
news! Poppy
I know
Sherry's new
exactly-
fart clip broke records worldwide. This lead to Renji to join the trend and fart on stream.
That is true.
I love that.
Don't get him started.
One of
I love
the fart
that.
clips is literally you just saying, "Wait, I just farted" in the Chain Together collab with
Okay.
Renji.
Are we doing Majorina?
Yes, we're doing it, Majorina. Listen, I farted 3 times on stream. One of them, the first time was
She's got
because
all memorized.
no, I do because I know
Right.
exactly how it happened. This is how you know I actually own this shit. Okay, the first one,
No, you own the
it was.
fart. If it was a shart, it's like a
I
completely
own it.
different conversation.
No, I will say I literally pissed myself on stream before, and I said, "Guys, I'll be right back. I have to go shower real quick." I was laughing so hard, I pissed myself. I own this shit, okay? This is normal fucking shit.
There's some things you shouldn't admit.
I don't give a fuck.
There's some things that you should. First time she had her cheeks on either side of the mic, bro. I think that's the one I heard.
Yeah, the fart clip that has the most most fucking views. I basically had the mic inside my cheeks. Like I don't.
Hey,
Okay, again, it was a very light night. I had no memory of what I was doing at that moment. Something about we were talking about farts, or I was saying, guys, I'm farting really bad right now. I might have to end stream. And then I got up and I was like, wait, hold on, I'm about to fart again. And something in me just like spread my own cheeks, put the mic in my butthole, and just farted into the mic. And I remember just laughing after that. And then I just end the stream because I don't know why I did that. And I was playing Dark Souls that time. So I don't know. I don't remember.
Yes. Wait, you farted so much you can't remember every time?
Guys, how many times do you fart a day?
Dude, I fart. Dude, I used to not fart often, and it wasn't. I think it's the seltzers I've been drinking, like the sparkling water I've been drinking. It just caused me to fart so much more than I used to. And the only thing I've changed in my diet is the fucking drinking more fucking water. I feel so
But,
weird
like-
seeing Renji like disassociating on his screen. Dude, sorry. Okay.
Bro, you okay? But here's the question. You're not answering my question. How many farts do you think you do a day? Hi,
Oh, dude, I
Tristan.
couldn't count. I couldn't give you a
Exactly.
number.
Fucking exactly.
Okay.
Oh my god, 185 views. There's no fucking way. Oh.
I feel weird, so weird seeing Renji like just like dissociating and on my screen during fart talk. Yeah, I was checking something real quick, make sure we have Majorina working right.
Wait, what?
Apologies. I was working on Majorina while Poppy was yapping just so I could tune her out because God, she can
Oh.
be so fucking annoying sometimes.
What the f? You don't say that on fucking DMs. You're like, oh yes, daddy, please give me more attention.
Yeah, I
Marty
say
McKips
that.
asked
Yeah, you
me
fucking do!
When we
All right, Zach, what
I-
team are you
once we
fucking
get
playing for
past
here?
all the wild chaos in chat, maybe we can dive into
I posted
some
the
gaming.
room
Carino.
code
You know what
in
they
both
say?
lobbies, by the way.
Shemmy stream is like a roller coaster. You never know what kind of ride you're in for. What game are you feeling today? Let me know, and maybe we'll get to it.
Oh my god, what the fuck is wrong with my voice? What the fuck? Alright, I'm opening Majorina right now, guys. I'm sorry.
You
sorry.
hear your voice for the first time? What the fuck is wrong with my voice?
Please fart into the mic for Anna, or I will.
Oh,
not
we're gonna
be
have to
able
mute and call once the game starts, by the way.
Wait, what? Oh, we have to mute on Discord?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it opened right in front of my face. Hold on. Real quick. Let me close space real quick. The 3 wives are
I will
here,
say
Shami.
this.
Wait, what
If anybody wants to join, you're more than welcome to. But if someone gets in here and there's not enough room for Poppy, I'm kicking somebody. All right.
Oh my god.
Poppy does have priority over everybody else. I'm sorry for that happening. But it's a game called Mage Arena. They do not sponsor us, but it is $3 on Steam, and it is an indie dev, and we love indie developers. Isn't that right,
Yes.
Shan?
Yes.
Hell yeah. So it's $3 on Steam. If you want to play with us, it's a quick download. It's a fun game. It's worth your time.
Wait.
And then not only that, you can play with friends and shit.
Real quick, sorry. The numbers you send on my chat, is that the code of the lobby?
That's the room code. Yeah,
Okay.
that's the room code.
Okay. Also, when the fuck did I become tangent, bro?
Oh, wait. Hold on. Have you done the tutorial? And I know you're going to say no, but you
No.
really need to do it just to see if your mic is working, to see if you need to do the accent menu.
What do you mean accent menu? What the fuck?
Because you have an accent, you dumb fucking bitch. And you need to fucking make sure that when you get in there and you say fireball, a fireball comes out.
Bro, I don't have an accent. What are you talking about? I have a normal English accent.
Alright, fuck it, we run it. And when she can't cast her fucking spells, she's the only one to fucking blame.
How much you want to bet it fucking understands me? How much you want to bet?
It didn't understand my wife, and she doesn't have an accent. So
Well,
I'll bet 5 gift subs that it does not fucking work for you.
I bet 1 gift sub because I'm broke.
Okay,
Because I'm broke as
one
fuck.
gifted sub. One gifted
Yes.
sub.
On each, yes. You want to
Alright, what the
fucking?
fuck?
I'm gonna wait. Wait, hold on. That doesn't. Wait.
Probably do fart that much, mother.
If I win, I gift you a sub, or you
Something-
give me a sub, and vice versa. I don't get it.
If you win, I gift you a sub. If I win, you gift me a sub.
Okay, that makes sense. Sorry. Hi, Cherry, ¿cómo está? Fidel Castro, ¿cómo está? Hi,
Something about
welcome.
sharing a clip during a Twitch event. She needs the Indian accent. Damn.
I'm gonna dom you so
Damn.
bad in the game show. Hey, yo. Hey, yo. Okay, hold on. Let me change everything real quick. Mage.
Love you, mommy Shamey.
Stop it. Stop it. Also, how come this game has only 659 followers but has like thousands of viewers? That doesn't make sense.
Because people like us play it.
Oh, no shit, bitch. But you would think it would have more followers, right?
No.
I don't know.
Does it matter? No, people don't follow game categories on Twitch.
I mean,
Which, thank you for reminding me to change mine.
no, hi. Hi back. Oh my god. How are you? I miss you. How's your vacation? Okay, just for that. Oh
No one
my
wants to
god.
calling you mommy.
I can't wait to rock her shit, bro. Hey, just remember what I said earlier about Mage Arena before we got in the call with Shammy. Just remember that.
Wait, what? My brain
Nothing.
just spasmed.
Yeah, I know. It's good. It wasn't for you.
Hi, Chucky Lonin. I'm gonna call you Chucky
Gotcha.
Lonin, even though it's not. I'm just being licked today. Do I taste good or something? Like, do I
I'll give
taste
you a
good or
lick.
something? No,
I'll give
you
a
get the fuck,
lick.
get the fuck away.
If I
Get
were
the.
to, no, this is a serious question. If I were to lick you, what would it taste like? What do you think?
Probably
what do you think
salty.
You taste like?
I don't know, salty. I guess. I don't know. I never tasted. What? Okay. What is happening?
I'm asking a question. There's no meaning behind it. It's just a genuine question.
Should I lick myself right now and see?
Sure. Shammy gets a fart into her mic. Get Shammy to fart into her mic. Dude, if Shammy farts on her mic and it casts fireball, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind.
I don't
would
taste like
musty.
anything. I just taste like salt.
Okay, go lick Ellie for a palate cleanser,
No.
and then lick yourself. And then see
good
if
at that.
it tastes.
No, I'm good on that.
Okay.
She's sleeping. She's so sweepy and keepy and eepy and
It's
cute.
the best time to lick your animal. What are you talking about? The
You
amount
say
of time
that?
I give Bailey kisses is mainly when she's sleeping, so she doesn't claw my face open. Are you gonna join this game or what?
I literally have it open. Give me a second.
Are you fixing your accent menu like I was saying?
No, I am not. I am fixing it on the stream so people can see. Games properties. I'm so sorry,
Penguin
guys.
is
Again.
always licking my arm. He's a freak.
Nobody would be crazy enough.
Dude, what
build
is
a
with
boat out of
animals and
glass.
licking people?
Se jodió el stream.
Also, for stream, if I don't read your message, it's because we're playing a game and we got, we're in a call and I'm trying to like
Yes.
talk with the other people on there. So it is not me trying to be rude. I probably did read it. I just didn't read it out loud. And
Yes.
yeah, just wanted to make that clear.
We're always reading chat, but we just can't always respond, especially when we are putting on a show for you.
Not only that, when I have this loud fucking bitch in my ears all the time, just not shutting the fuck up.
You act like you don't like it, bitch.
No, I love you, Shammy. I love you. I would
Do you?
never say
Do you?
anything mean about you.
Do you?
Dude,
Look at you! You're fucking laughing at me crying.
stop.
Don't you stop.
I won't be a dick to you today, Shamey.
Okay, I'm dying. All right, let's see.
Two best friends sitting in a hot tub 5 feet apart because they're not gay.
My favorite part of Shami's stream is when she opened the game. Oh wait, it's
I
open.
agree, Zero.
That wasn't even Zero. That was space.
I agree, Zero. It is a pain in the ass. But I'm not going to lie with you. Like, when I'm like playing games by myself and shit, it's a lot easier.
Hello.
Fucking love SAO Bridge. Sorry, I had a fucking. So you hit join lobby,
I just did.
and then you type in that code.
Look at us. Oh my gosh, I am literally level 0.
Then you put in that code.
I'm literally in.
Oh, fucking time. Is anybody else gonna join? We got 2 more slots. Shouldn't do this, Royal. Yeah, I know.
Keiki, Grandmaster, Master, Armagus,
Some people have been
Sputter,
playing this.
Kaki. What does Kaki mean?
Huh?
I'm gonna change my model real quick. Hold
Lackey?
on. I don't fucking know what that says, man.
It says lackey.
Lackey?
Yeah.
As in, like, I'm lacking?
Kinda?
Wait, why are my hands
know-
up? Hold on.
So you know when you have like someone who's used for stupid tasks? Yeah, exactly. It's like a gopher. Yeah, I agree, Zero.
Okay.
Oh, I should say this because I saw Cherry mention lurking. I want to say this for Poppy's chat too.
Yes, I know what you're gonna say.
Just so people know, Twitch has put this new thing in where because they're trying to combat view botting and all that shit. If you lurk in a chat, just say you're gonna lurk in the chat because without that, without you saying something in the chat, your view does not count.
Yeah, so
and
it'll-
viewer numbers are important to a streamer because that's what determines who sponsors you and who advertises on your shit
How are you,
and all that
Stinky
other
Spicy
stuff.
Shame?
So
Well,
the viewer count number is the most important number to a streamer, honestly.
Well, it's not just that. It's also like your accounts can get suspended or flagged as like you're a bot, and you can potentially lose your account and stuff like that.
That is also true. I didn't even think about that, but yeah.
Yeah, I read the whole thing on Twitter. I was like, what the fuck? Should I even come back to streaming? I have so many lurkers. I don't want to lose it.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, I
was
think-
for future notice, if you're gonna lurk in any chat, just say you're lurking. It helps the streamer out and doesn't get them in trouble.
And it doesn't have to be like you don't have to talk a lot. Like one message or one redeem is enough per stream. Just to like
That's
say
why I
that, hey,
say-
I'm real.
Yeah, I would just say, hey, I'm lurking, and that's it. And because
Mm-hmm.
most streamers would be like, oh, they're lurking. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm ready if you are. Should we,
Is this everybody that's gonna join?
I think so. It's just anybody wants to join. Hold on. Let me pin the message of the code real quick, so that they can just.
If they have to join back, I have to make a new lobby if we start now. They can't join mid-game.
Okay, that's fine. To join. There you go, and then manually unpin it. I think I think I'm good now. We should have tried the chat together, but too late now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This is the game. This is the game you say the spells. I'm not
Yeah,
spicy.
And, it won't- and will not fucking work for Shammy because of the Shammy's accent.
Oh my god.
Anywho, I'm gonna start the lobby so that way we can start making the team flags and shit.
Hi, princess. Hi.
I'm gonna join Warlocks. My suggestion is you join Sorcerers.
Okay, but why?
Oh, shit, didn't mean to do that, but if someone else wants to change the flag again, they can.
Hi, Brocodaddy. Hi.
We should be on separate teams. It'd be fun.
Okay. Hi, I'm back from my birthday trip. Happy birthday! Happy birthday! Have you ever watched Tokyo Ghoul? Yes, I've watched and read Tokyo Ghoul. I love Tokyo Ghoul.
I'm still reading it. I'm
So
still
good.
in Re right now.
Wait, why are we on Discord? Shouldn't we be talking?
Well, it's the mics aren't hot yet
Okay.
until we actually get into the game. Yeah.
Wait, why are you guys
Is-
saying?
Do you not like my catfish? Oh, I do love your catfish. Oh yeah, that'll be.
Oh my
I'll
God.
get a flag.
You guys are saying that I'm a bad teammate. What the fuck?
Dude, I saw a TikTok of somebody who had a flag and it was just the Confederate flag. I was like, oh my fucking god. And it was just a bunch of fucking wizards with like deep southern accents. And they're like, yeah, we don't fuck with them sorcerers around here.
No way, dude. The fucking rednecks. Wait, is that a slur?
Yeah. Redneck? I don't think it's a slur.
Okay, good.
Make wizards great again. Make magic great again.
No way. I need it.
I'm back. Wait for me. Okay. Yeah. Oh, Crimso. I don't know if you can still join.
I think they can. Actually, wait. Just said 2 more slots, right?
Yeah, the Rebel Battle Flag. Yeah, we still have 2 more slots. I just don't know if because I started the lobby, if they can join.
We might have to back out. Also, if anybody in chat or in my chat wants to join, please
I'm just
feel
gonna-
free to.
All right, I'm just gonna make a new lobby, back out, and
Oh.
I'll
Should I,
I'll post it. Yeah, unpin
Okay.
that one. I'm gonna post a new one in both.
Well, you're a
So
mod
people
on my
can
channel,
join.
so you can pin it on mine if you can. ¿Cómo estás, Nora? Hola, Loli. Te extraño mucho.
Let me pin it.
Okay, I'll pin it.
Well,
There
let
we
me
go.
pin it. Okay,
I
thank
pinned it. Yep. Thank
so,
you.
I'm sorry, y'all. It's okay, Crimso. I'm just happy you're here.
Yeah. Copy. Is Shami stinky or spicy? I'm not spicy!
Asked me, is Shamey stinky or spicy? Ay, Carino, you know Shamey's got that spicy flavor, bringing the sass and chaos to the stream.
And I'm back. Sorry, I had
Catch a whiff
to
of
tell something
it's
to chat
probably
real
just the
quick.
spice levels being too high. This stream is all about wild, fiery vibes. So buckle up and enjoy
We could
the
do a
ride.
large mount.
I'm not spicy. Stop. Oh my god. Have you been, Princess? I missed you. Ay, te extrañé mucho, Nura. Oh my god. There's so many people. I don't know. Do
That's
daily
right,
check and
Princess.
redeem? Yes.
That's right.
Are we ready? Because I am. I'm ready to prove you wrong. I'm ready for the one gifted sub.
I'm down to do. Let's do a medium for the first one, and then
Yeah.
next round we'll do a large. I'm gonna give it like 10 more seconds for anybody who wants to join,
Okay.
and then we'll start.
Bésame, vamos a ver.
Muddy Mudkips asked me, tell me a story.
All right.
Once upon a
Oh,
time,
wait,
I'll
in
let
the spicy
Crimson finish
kingdom
count down.
of Salsa Verde, there lived a sassy dragon named Shami, who breathed fire and sass.
And
Shami
we
adored
lock it
tacos
in.
and spent days causing chaos by
If you
challenging
want to join, you
brave
can join
adventurers
next
to taco
round.
eating
I think it goes back
contests.
to that lobby anyways. So,
Hero.
but do say something so we can
known
make sure
as
we work you
El
in the next round.
Polito
Yes.
tried their luck. They ate tacos faster than Shami could jiggle.
Wait, and what is it with me and
That's right.
Shami became their
tacos?
friend, and they both danced into
That's
the sunset
right.
with
That's
Shami
right.
wiggling all the way.
Bro, why is there
Does
3 of you over
anybody
there?
wanna- There's 4 of us over here. What are you talking about?
Oh no,
Nobody wants to change my
Isaac!
flag, well, Okay,
I
Zero.
watched it
I see how it is.
very recently.
Oh
Can't
wait,
believe I'm on the
And
winning
ever since
team.
then,
Crazy
I've
luck.
been
That's
obsessed
right,
with Tokyo
Crimson.
Ghoul
That's
and the
right.
character Rise
The
Up,
fucking
the first ghoul
winning
in
team,
the event,
baby!
And I've just been using her as my main killer in DBD ever since I bought her.
Did y'all make your finisher flag?
I don't even know how to make that. Oh,
So, okay, so you see the team that you joined, the join
Prince
sorcerers
21
button that you
asked
clicked?
me, how have you been?
Yes.
Exa place work, Exa place
Okay,
work,
so
Exa
you're
place
gonna
work.
you go to edit
Hi,
team flag
Carino.
now.
I've been living the wildlife, spreading sass
And
and chaos
everybody
all
can
around,
draw on
keeping
it.
it spicy and jiggly, just like those emotes.
wait, who did
How
that?
about
I don't
you?
wanna
What
I don't wanna
adventures
destroy
have you
someone's
been-
art.
Just draw on your own little section of it.
I
can
just
also
fucking
save it.
wrecked it!
So that way, every time you can be that.
I'm sorry. No. What the fuck is
I got rid
happening?
of zeros. That was mine. It's saved, so you can do whatever you want. Yeah, so you can also save it. Crap.
Alright, I'm ready.
Is everybody ready?
Yes.
I'm gonna give it a 10-second countdown.
Alright.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
I'm gonna go for a
2,
bit. See you soon.
1.
Shami, love you.
Fugma stands for fuck my ass. And we got a mute.
Okay. Oh my god.
Hi guys.
Wait, I can't.
Hey, something you need to know.
Hi.
WASD, fool. WASD.
I gotta.
We
Okay, there you
didn't
go.
do the Tutorial. So just so you know,
Yes.
homie. 1, 2, 3, and 4. While you're holding the book, changes what you do.
Oh,
Do not
That's so
say
cool.
the name of the spell in front of your friends, or it will cast on them, and they will die.
what? Why is that thing? What is this thing?
Well, that's the
Soup man.
that's the dude you make soup.
And I'll make you a powerful magical soup.
He's fisting it.
Yeah, eat that soup. Eat it.
It-
You are
it-
now power. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then G to drop.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's so cute. Okay.
Make sure you always close the portcullis.
Wait, who are all on our teams?
I have no idea.
What is this? Oh, it's a mirror! Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the baddies?
The warlocks have captured the Crystal Caverns.
Who is the baddest of them all?
Captured the Crystal Caverns.
That doesn't answer my question, bitch. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the baddest of them all? Fuck you! No, you. No!
The sorceress has
No!
captured the warlock's base.
Oh my god, he keeps saying yes, I swear to god. Okay, how do I just, okay. Where did he go? Hello? Bro. Shami starting to staring at it. He was so cute. But I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I need to check Rito Sen. Hi, Slimy. How are you? Hi. What's this about gifted subs? Oh,
Warlocks have reclaimed their base.
if I'm wrong about it reading my accent, then I give this up to Renji, and if he's wrong, then he gives me hello? I saw someone over here. What the heck?
Sorcerer has been slain.
Oh, wormhole? Wait, what does that do?
Freeze.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, what happened?
What do you mean?
Someone died.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Who died?
Oh, by the way, if you start running low on health, if you press B, you'll start teleporting home and it'll give you all your health back.
What is that sound?
That's you teleporting.
Wait.
Also, here you go. Use it wisely.
What is that?
Yeah. 'Cause, don't look at me when you say it. That's Dark Blast. You
Dark
can shoot
Blast?
it through walls.
Oh, what the hell?
Huh?
You have been doomed to die.
Fireball.
I was right, Reggie! I was right!
Magic missile.
What is this announcement speaking voice?
Fireball.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Can I fly?
Hey, bro, is bro giving us commandments right now?
Dark Blast!
Excuse me while I
Magic missile.
Dark Blast!
Baited you.
Dark Blast!
Freeze.
Freeze. Fireball. No,
Fireball.
Puta, 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 puta! Dark Blast! Am I not able to use it? Like, hello? Fireball.
Sounds like Shammy owes me a fucking gifted sub.
No, no, fucking don't! No, fucking don't! Fireball.
Magic missile.
Look at that, I'm doing it good, bro. I'm literally doing good. It's reading me.
Oh, do you have to pull out your fucking American accent? That's why
I didn't fly, bro. I'm not reading that accent.
Fireball.
Fireball. Bitch.
Fireball.
Freeze.
Magic missile.
Magic missile.
Fireball.
Fireball.
Let's do that.
Fireball. Magic missile.
Space, I don't fucking see you.
Freeze.
Missile.
Fireball.
Fireball.
Ah!
Missile.
Fireball.
Freeze.
Let's fucking go! Let's fucking go!
Victory.
You see that? You see that? Looks like Renji owes me a fucking gifted sub. It's on cooldown, Shami. Oh my god, I didn't know. Oh my god. I just wait, I didn't just notice you. I was
Sounds
saying
like you owe me a gifted sub. And she said this is a winning team. and it is
excuse
a winning
me.
team.
No, excuse me. No. Excuse me. So, first of all, we won, alright? My team
that's
won.
cool. It
Alright?
was a pity
Second
whip
of all,
to give you,
second
like,
of all,
confidence to keep playing
if
the rest of the game.
you can ask my chat and you can ask anybody who was watching me. Anytime I said the words, it read me perfectly. Like it has no issues.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Chat, is this real?
Yeah, see?
I feel like you paid Asmodeus and Prince. I feel like you're paying them off.
I'm not. Oh, they've. Oh, I
play
have to play.
again.
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, play again.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Chat, I don't know.
Yeah, fuck you, suck my dick.
Where's my $5 at, Shammy?
You don't have to.
Damn.
If you're broke, it's okay.
Oh, no, all I'm saying is, what the fuck you trying to say? I was
kidding.
reading Prince's thing,
Oh,
saying
my
that
bad.
you bought his vote.
I didn't buy anything. It's right there. The
Alright.
bot's right there. You can watch it.
I'm a man of my word. I'm a man of my word.
Worm opens a portal hole, opens the others. Oh, oh my god! I told you you didn't have to.
Gifted 1 subs to
Chat,
viewers.
I want a snack. I feel that, Crimson.
Same bite and blast. Hey, what the hell?
Who was it? Was it Osmodeus that was talking about it? This gives me a time to shill this game that's $3 and on Steam, and definitely worth getting.
Yes, you should play with us, please.
It's fun with friends. We have one slot too. One
Stop
more
the
slot.
drama. Wait, what drama? Huh? We don't got no drama. Wait, there ain't no drama with them for the moment.
Kind of hear them inside the camera.
Who wants to join the game? Yes.
You
Who wants
can't
to
talk shit, Sham. You literally have Isaac and Muddy on your team carrying you. That is also. fucking
Excuse
true.
me. I don't know who
No
died
snack,
before
sorry,
me.
heard
I was
Shaq.
I was still standing.
I'm still standing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
This game's
God,
awesome, but my mic sucks. Oh.
Why is
Hi,
Shammy a
Queenso.
spitter now?
Huh?
Yeah, we always knew. We always knew Shammy was a spitter.
Motherfucker, I don't spit. Spitters for quitters.
You know, there are there's leaders and there's followers, and I'd rather be a dick than a spitter.
That doesn't make sense.
I want you to think about it.
Okay, say it again.
There are leaders and there are followers, but I'd rather be a dick than a spitter.
I feel like I'm thinking about it too much. Have
Have you ever heard of this thing called ketamine therapy?
No, you told me you would tell me after stream. Tell me now. Tell me now.
So anyways, does anybody else want to join?
I say we play one more, and then whoever wants to join after can join after. Cause I'm assuming that if any
Don't
if they
try
don't-
it. Suki,
yeah, they don't have it there.
I will get it for you.
Hi, Silky.
Also got a headache. I don't suggest playing this on a headache. It will give you a headache.
Creamsalt, when is he not fucking high?
I'm not high.
You're always high.
I think continue this until someone speaks up to join. Bet. I'll play, but I'm playing now. Okay, bet. Alright, we'll start it up.
I love this game,
Mr.
but I wanna.
Crab Ketamine.
Oh no, it's okay, no. I hope you get to join next time. I'd play, but I'm playing Val. Listen, motherfucker. Val can wait.
I mean, Val can always uninstall.
That too.
As someone who's played a lot of fucking Val.
So wait, what's
Yeah.
the difference between sorcerers and wizard or warlocks?
We just look cooler than you.
Oh, okay. Actually, wizards are cooler.
That's why you joined Warlocks, just to see. The grass is always greener on the other side, huh, Poppy?
I'm always greener. Yes, it's $3. Oh, this game's super cheap. I know, right?
Beep, beep. You do, in fact, look cooler. Thank you. Thank you, Suki.
Oh my
Just don't
god,
like the
so
uneven
okay.
Teams. I feel that. Yeah, well, let's watch Poppy get fucking carried to victory again.
Oh my god, you're just salty.
And away we go.
You're salty.
You're up.
Oh, wait. They scored.
No, we did it! I just doodled a cat. No. I was not
There we go.
prepared.
Ooh. Oh,
Alright.
hi.
Hello. I want this rock, please.
Oh.
I want that log. And I'm gonna... I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But I'm gonna put that there. No, it won't let me. Okay.
Grasp item.
Silver seed bramble. What the?
Is that
What the
maybe you
flip?
give it to him and he cooks it?
Oh.
Ew, why
do you
sound like
want my
that?
Silver seed?
And I'll make you a powerful
Give me an
magical
ingredient,
soup.
and I'll make you a magical soup. Oh, take it. Take it. He doesn't like my silver seed bramble.
Click on click. Are you clicking it or? Oh, I think you're supposed to. Ah!
Two sorcerers have been slain. 3 sorcerers. The warlocks have captured the forest hills.
What the fuck?
The sorcerers have captured the warlock's base.
What the fuck? Huh? Okay. Dude, how do I get up there? What the fuck? Do I just like jump from here to there? Oh.
What's up, Gary?
I don't know if there's things on the top of the towers. If there's things on the top.
There's things.
Hello?
Hello, yes. There's shit here. What is that?
What the hell's that?
Where the fuck am I?
That tracks people. If
Hello? What the fuck?
What is that? Wisp? I'm going to ghost on it.
I need help.
Well, we can see.
Fireball.
Fireball! Fireball!
What's happening?
Fireball!
How do we go?
Fuck! Fuck!
How do we get in the middle?
Is he dead? I'm so fucking lost.
How do I...
Fireball.
Fireball!
I don't understand
Fireball.
this. What the hell am I doing? Good job.
Oh my god.
Leaving Shammy.
I don't know what's happening. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
Rock? Oh. Ah! Fireball! Fuck you!
What the hell? Oh, I'm so alive.
God damn it! I'm dead. I think I'm dead. I was gonna use it, but I don't know where the fuck I was going. I was lost. My vowel bash is over. Your vowel? Let me see if I can get my mic to work. Okay, take your time.
You bastard!
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yay!
I'm sorry.
What happened?
It wouldn't let me use my spells.
I don't even know how I died. I don't even know where I was. Where are we?
We were at like the stairwell in the inside the lava place.
Oh my god. Wait, is that Isaac?
Mayhaps.
Isaac? Or is that Muddy?
I'm charging in.
That's Muddy.
No, you don't.
What? Dude, I don't even know where the fuck they are. What the fuck?
Terrible. Did I get you? I don't think I could. Oh, wait. Did I? Oh, I killed a man.
Am I supposed to go up?
I don't know what we're supposed to do. Make me commit murder.
Oh. I'm so fucking confused, guys. Oh! Oh! Ooh!
Two sorcerers. Wait,
Thunderbolt.
sorcerers? I feel
What is that? What is that? What is that? What is that? Fireball.
Magic missile.
Did I just kill myself?
Did you?
I'm so confused. I don't know. I can't see. Oh, there we go.
You're okay. You're okay.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Person though. They dead.
Who was that? I didn't say their name.
I might have been. Is there NPC wizards?
Oh, oh. Oh my god.
Oh.
I can't see shit. Wait, how do we go inside the castle? Like, I can't.
I don't know.
Is this even
Maybe
where
the
we're supposed to
castle-
be?
Sorry.
Oh, oh.
I'm on fire.
Oh my gosh, no, please don't be. Don't be. Fireball. Crimson, no, please. No! 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 God fucking damn it. I don't know who you are, but you're gonna pay for this. Fireball! Thunderbolt! 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 Fucking bitch. No, no. 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 No, you're not. No. Fireball.
Oh shit!
Bitch.
Oh god! Missile! Fireball!
Fireball. Fuck me in the asshole. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Fireball. I killed myself. I fucking killed myself.
Jesus Christ.
I fucking killed myself. Fucking shit, dude.
How you doing there, Shammy?
I'm so
Last
lost
thing
of
we
what the fuck was happening. I don't know
The
where
last
we
thing I
were.
heard was you yell fireball and then you died.
I killed
And we won.
myself. Dude, I don't know
Poor
where.
Shammy, she killed me.
I'm sorry. I don't know where we
Crimson
were. I
Sage.
don't know where who was who.
Shammy, Crimson said, having Shammy and Renji be on different teams is making me a child of divorce.
I don't think Renji wants to be on my team. He hates me.
We should. Okay, I'm down to do one of us together.
Wow, just one?
Just one.
Until we win, and then you realize that I'm the lucky charm that you need in your team.
That's why you lost last round?
Okay, that one doesn't really
You
count
can't be a
because
lucky charm off of
it
one
doesn't count because I don't know where the fuck I was. I don't know who it was. Who was who? I don't know what the fuck was happening.
Yeah, real lucky charm there.
It was literally you.
I heard you open the door.
I killed everybody.
Streaming with Shammy.
Lucy, hi. How are you? It's a 5v3.
Am I deafen real quick?
If you exist. Oh my god. Chubby killed everyone? Wait. What? Wait, I'm confused. How did I kill everyone? What? Are you talking about I killed everyone in my team? Oh, I think I get it now. I've seen like one clip of this. Looks kind of fun. You should play with us. Yeah. I didn't mean to kill anyone. I'm sorry. But I tell you, I don't know where the fuck I was. I don't know who was who. I just fucking threw shit at everybody because I didn't know. Welcome back.
$3 I got. Is Lucy joining?
He better.
Okay.
Is anybody? Anybody
So,
joining?
I hear. Doesn't sound like it. If you'd like to join, say something now. We'll add you in on next round.
If you want to join, say PP.
He wants to watch before he joins? Okay, bet. Maybe in like 10 minutes, bet. I want to join Crimson. You're in. Jamie, are we being on the same team this round?
Yes.
Well,
Crimson, you're already in here. Isn't Crimson in here?
Yeah, Crimson's in here.
3v4, by the way. Oh, he's...
Well, it's really a 3v3 if you think about it.
Okay, bro, what the fuck?
You've been on her team this whole
Just
time.
wanted to say PP.
Not Space's favorite. True. Space is the favorite, along with Crimzo, alright? In my opinion.
Oh god. Are we gonna go?
Okay, yeah, we can start. I didn't know if everybody did their flags or not.
Okay, let me mute on Discord. 4v2? Wait, what? Why'd you say 4v2?
Is there a crystal and a rock in here? Please, no, it's a fucking
The crystal
log. Okay,
canyons are here.
Toad!
hold on, do y'all make your things? I'm gonna, I guess I'm gonna make when y'all are done.
How do I fucking grab something? Oh,
Okay, don't place it down. Just wait, Jimmy.
okay.
Please.
What is that? Is that a dick?
Okay, Shanny,
what
place
the-
your shit. I'm gonna place my shit when you're done.
I
She's
just
got
put it
no
down.
shit to place.
Okay, we'll pick it back up.
You have a Shrek frog!
Yeah, look.
Okay, well, I'm taking your fucking log.
I want it!
Shammy,
Okay, you
take
can
your
have
fucking log off the table!
Bro, you said to put it on!
Jimmy, come here.
You motherfucker, you took my... You think this is fucking funny? Yeah!
Cannon height! Cannon height! Cannon height!
You fucking bitch!
The warlocks have captured
You're so tiny.
heaven.
Alright, so how do I do... Why is it so tiny? Hello? Hello?
Look, they'll never see you come.
I'm gonna die! Why are you fucking laughing?
The sorcerers have kept
How do I cross?
my own.
You want some? Get down
Yeah, give
here.
me some. Let me bend over. Hey!
You put the
How did you figure out to do that?
I'm gonna die!
Don't touch me! Don't touch me!
Space, I'm gonna fucking die!
Don't! Freeze!
I'm gonna fucking die! You killed me!
Sorcerer has been slain.
God fucking damn it. Take me home.
You're all fucking flattened out. Look at you. Look at you.
What the fuck? Yo, that's not that funny.
Okay, I'm sorry. You can have this.
No, fuck you. Come here.
No!
Okay.
No!
A warlock has been slain.
I'm sorry! I didn't think it would actually kill you!
Give me my fucking balloon back! Where are you?
I'm sorry! I wasn't actually trying to kill you. No, I wasn't actually trying to kill you. Take it.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You can have it. You
Is that a
jump
fucking
and then you
frog?
fly up. Yeah, it's a frog.
It's from Shrek!
Shrek. Yeah.
Oh my god, I love this so much.
Oh, well, I don't know why I had a feeling that our face was gonna be invaded.
Wait, I have a
No,
question
so
for
I haven't
this.
left it yet. So I didn't
Frenchie.
know in charge of the... What?
Reggie, come here. Come here, send. Stop it! Stop!
Mirror, mirror.
No! I was gonna do it!
Freeze.
Get me down!
Hey, Shammy, where'd you go?
Motherfucker,
Hey,
stop
What
it.
this spell does
Come
real
here.
quick? Rock.
Stop it. Don't. Shut.
Oh, that's what that does.
Are you fucking trying to kill me, bitch?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you from all the way down there.
No. No. No! No! Stop! I'm gonna AFK, bro. I'm gonna out F4. Why you fucking stop? Stop!
Freeze.
This is fucking fucked up. Magic missile. Motherfucker. Fireball.
Freeze.
No! I'm gonna die! I'm not fucking joining this team. I'm not fucking joining this team again.
You can have your balloon back. I'm sorry.
Stop it! I'm gonna fucking kill myself. No, press me!
Freeze.
Don't. Fireball.
Oh, actually... Oh.
No! Sorry!
Watch out, you two! Watch out! Rock!
Fireball.
Warlock has been slain.
Don't touch me!
Fire. I'm gonna be myself. Fireball. Fireball.
Make our base safer.
Fireball.
Kill for it.
Fireball!
A warlock has been slain.
Fireball.
No!
Oh! Rock! Fuck! Sorry, Space.
What's happening? I can't see shit. Fireball.
I can't see.
I can't see shit.
Sammy, we're on the same team here. I want you to know that.
I don't know. I can't see anything. Why is everything dark?
Oh, this is fucked up.
Where'd you go, Sammy? There you are.
No, no, no! Fireball.
Ah, what the fuck? I'm just dancing here.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do it to you. Bitch. Not you, Space. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No!
We're protecting our base.
I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
Hey, Space.
No, wait. Yeah.
Are you planning on staying here?
I can if Shammy does.
Fireball.
Because Shammy's a liability.
Okay, I'm done. I'm done.
Rock.
No! Did you just kiss?
Where is it? Where's my shit?
I'm gonna kill. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna pee myself. Stop it!
Polly, thank you for the resub.
I'm gonna pee myself.
Hey, Space. If you're planning on staying here, I'm gonna leave this rock here for you. I'm gonna leave this spell here for you.
Okay.
So you can like block the door and shit.
Magic missile.
Okay. Oh my god.
Hey,
Yeah, keep
I
her
need
with
you
me,
to
I got
chill
her.
and take your fucking job seriously.
I'm
Alright,
trying to learn a shit!
We're not attacking each other! We're talking actual strategy!
I died!
Alright, well there goes my point.
God damn it. Bro.
I'm sorry, I'm done.
No, you're not.
Anonymous
Yes, I am.
cheer.
You literally-
X1020. I have arrived home. Jamie is
Ay,
back.
Renji, me cago en ta puta madre que te fucking parió, cante cabrón. Deja de estar haciendo eso. Deja de estar haciéndome eso.
Jamie, I love you.
There you go.
You fucking bitch!
Gremlin, a little gremlin.
I can't even fucking put my shit on here. Oh my It's not fucking funny. What is this?
That's so fucking funny.
What is this?
It's an orb. I don't know. I don't know what it does. I think it shows you other players' POVs.
Can I give it to him?
Give me an ingredient, and I'll
No,
make you a
he
powerful
likes smaller
magical
ingredients.
soup.
So let's see. Did anyone drop anything off for us? I don't see any yet. We have to wait for people, the little gremlins, to drop off an ingredient.
Oh shit, okay. Oh my god.
I can't breathe, bro.
I'm gonna die.
Guys, I got it! I got
Oh.
it!
Let's go!
What happened? Hey yo.
Hey, Shammy, you want to see what this does?
No, don't kill me. Don't kill me.
Poor. I think.
Yo, what the fuck, Anna? Anna, what the fuck? What? What? I'm sorry. What the f- I'm losing my voice, dude. They're bullying me. I know what the frick. I have right told Shoya is back. Well, that's what I've been waiting for. Hope. Oh shit, sorry. How you be doing great in your awaited return. I love you more. Te amo más. Gracias por el fucking the bits, bro. You didn't have to do that. What the frick? I was not expecting that. Thank you. That's a fucking lot, dude. What the fuck? Thank you so much. How are you? How are you, Anna? I don't need a spicy spell. Oh my god.
Hi! Do you want the thing I touched you with?
Rock.
What?
Are you double? Shami!
What the?
Come here. Come hither, Shami.
Where are you?
Hey,
so tall.
I bestow upon you knighthood.
Yo,
That one
night
taps.
rain.
No, don't. That one taps anyone. Press and hold it, and when it's out like that in front, it kills people instantly.
Why can't I
Don't
just
look
slice
at
you
me.
like this?
Don't.
You almost
I'm
died
gonna
with
go
the
run
rock.
away now, because I don't want to be touched.
Here, you want this? You want this orb?
No. Also, I love this spell, so I'm gonna use it real quick.
What is this? What does this do?
Oh, if you press and hold it, you can see the position of anyone on the map. You just gotta
I
tag
don't-
through it. Press and hold left click, and the longer you hold it, the clearer the vision.
Oh, that's so
Divine
cool.
light!
What the fuck? That flashed my eyes.
Magic missile.
Thunderbolt!
Shimmy back up. Rock.
Fireball.
That didn't do it!
Fireball.
Please.
Fireball.
Oh my god.
Fireball. Fireball. Fireball.
Fireball!
Fireball. So this would be fireball. Screw this. Magic missile.
Freeze.
Magic missile. Fireball. Fireball.
Wait, I can't see Jack did it squad, bro.
That might help a little bit.
Thank you. What the fuck?
Oh no.
I'm trying to block the entrance!
Fireball.
You keep fucking blocking it!
Fireball. Wait, no.
Missile. Missile.
Why'd you open it?
Freeze.
Fireball.
Fireball.
Magic missile! Oh my god, she's a liability.
Fuck. Fuck.
Crimson!
Fireball.
Where the fuck are you?
Door, you're dead.
Rock.
Fireball.
Oh my god, you almost killed me. You almost killed me.
Fireball.
Freeze.
Thunder!
Freeze.
Thunderbolts!
How'd I get in?
Missile.
Fireball.
Oh my god. Yes. Who else is in here?
Rock. God damn, it's such a long range!
Oh my god, you scared the fuck out of me.
He's inside. Isaac's inside.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he's in a tower. Why'd you...
Fireball.
Chammy, keep that fucking door closed. God damn.
I don't know. Oh, I see him. He's dead.
Magic missile.
He's gonna die. He's gonna die. He's almost dead.
Yeah, he died.
He's dead. Alright, who's left?
Freeze.
Hey guys.
Hey,
Fireball.
what the f-
No. No. Magic
Thunderbolt.
missile.
Oh!
He knew it!
Fireball. Fireball.
Bro!
Magic missile. Magic missile.
Magic missile.
Fireball.
Chammy, if you don't stop opening the fucking door!
I'm sorry! I don't know where the fucking...
Get out! Get out! Get out! Go out there!
Fireball.
Don't die. Where are they? Fireball.
Fireball.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I didn't see you. I'm sorry. What is that?
Fireball.
Are they dead?
Fireball.
Fireball. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Freeze.
No. No. No!
Missile.
Thunderbolt.
God damn it. I'm fucking dying, bro. Fondalo! Hi! It's been so long since I've seen you, motherfucker. Where the fuck have you been? You've been absent for like months,
He's in the
dude.
tower?
He's
No
on the
way.
side.
Let me out. Let me out.
Thunderbolt.
Oh,
Shammy.
Magic missile.
Shammy, you can go out a window. Or
close
you
it, close it,
can
close it.
I'm
Fireball.
sorry.
Oh crap. Fireball. Fireball.
Fuck me, fuck me, fuck me.
Freeze. Oh, wrong way. Fireball. Fireball. Magic missile. Magic missile.
Come here. No!
Oh, there you go.
I'm so bad. God damn it.
Suck it, Shelly.
God damn it. How are you doing, Funko? Zing Stone. Oh my gosh, wait, when are you joining us? Hey, that's mine! Who took this from me?
Where did the Excalibur go? Okay, you got it. I was gonna say.
Wait, do you want it?
You have. I will happily take that.
I don't want it. I made it, but I do not to be.
Make a thing!
Okay, I fear we're gonna have to.
Oh
Lord. Does anyone
Oh
have
my-
Divine Light?
I do. Divine Light.
Oh my god, I'm gonna die! I'm flying!
Fireballs on us.
Fireball.
Oh,
Hi, free.
Isaac, I fucking hear you. Where the fuck are you?
What the fuck?
Oh, I see him. Fireball.
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 Nope. Ay, mi ojo.
Rock. Rock.
No!
Magic missile.
Let me hit.
God damn it. Yo, cuando Clash Royale Fireball.
Divine Light.
¿Cómo está, Enclave? ¿Cómo está?
Rock.
Fireball.
That's not where I wanted it. Whatever.
Renji, I don't know how the fuck you said to go through here.
Oh no!
Over here, Shammy. Over here.
Magic missile.
Why am I small?
Magic missile.
Over here. Wow, look, a way out.
Freeze.
Why? I ain't fucking know, bitch.
Fireball.
Thunderbolt.
How you doing?
Freeze.
Fireball. I killed myself. Wait, I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
Divine light. Divine.
No.
Divine light.
Fireball.
Divine light.
Sorcerer has been slain.
Fireball.
Divine
Fireball.
light. Divine light.
Have been slain.
Yeah, Jamie.
I accidentally killed. Where's Renji?
Divine light.
He's trying to get the enemy base.
Divine.
Okay, I'm sorry. I killed him. I didn't mean to kill him.
It's okay. It's okay. You're okay.
Where's Isaac?
Fireball.
Fireball. Wait. What? Wait, what?
Divine.
Magic missile.
Where the fuck did he go? He was just right there.
He's on the right side. He might be
On the-
behind now.
Has been slain.
Magic missile.
Isaac, stop hiding. Fireball.
Thunderbolt. Thunder. Thunder. Divine.
No, you're not. Come here.
Thunderbolt.
Way to go, Shammy.
Wait, I don't
You wanna
know.
come back inside or you want to be out there?
I don't. Okay, there you go. They want to kill you.
Good job.
Hell yeah. Wait, how do I heal myself?
You you have to have a skill called Divine Light, or you just wait a little bit.
Oh,
So Renji
okay.
is pillaging their tower right now. We're defending ours.
Okay.
I think there's 2 people left on their team, or 1 person left.
What is this right here? What is that?
Let me see.
Let's go.
Who's freezing you with?
Oh, this is freeze?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what? What the fuck,
Let's
Reggie?
go!
What the fuck did he say? Oh my god.
Oh, feels good to be a gangster. All right, I'm gonna post the lobby codes again. Y'all took that much. Okay, listen, Isaac. Before you start yapping shit right now, Shamey was most of my deaths.
I'm sorry, Yeti, me too.
The amount of times we were up in a fucking in an area, like just standing next to each other, and Shamey was like, "Ooh, you know what would be good right now? A fucking fireball at point blank." Y'all just camped. No, it was just Shammy.
I didn't mean to. Man, you gotta consider, this is my first time playing, okay?
Just saying.
You're
While
just
Shammy
saying.
was fucking about in the base, we all stayed at base for most of it. Shammy, Space was Bob the Builder? Yeah. Dude, I knew Space was gonna rock that fucking spell.
Shami, I just want to say, I hope that I could cheer you. You did! I was not expecting that. Oh, would you like to join us, Ana? Meño, Shami, ¿cómo has estado?
I was suck a winner.
Oh my god, una cosa y estar atento en otras cosas.
Dude.
No, yo también. Yo también.
Crimso, you're a winner in my heart.
A winner.
I was bullying Shammy.
I feel numb right now, maybe later. Okay, Anna. I understand. Where's Asmo? I thought he wanted
I thought
to
Lucy
join.
was joining.
Lucy probably eating.
Oh.
Yeah, you are. You're a wiener.
You're a wiener, Crimso.
You're a wiener. We're all wieners.
We need one more player. Yeah, we need one more person to have even teams.
This game's actually
Does that
fun. I
map-
can't believe I missed out on it.
I told you.
The first
you'd like
time.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, Crimso. You're a winner. You're a winner. My
You're a
heart.
winner. A team of winners. Wait, isn't that the same code?
Yes. I was just posting it again in case somebody else forgot.
Oh, okay. I have it pinned.
Oh, well. Have it.
I've been doing really good on I'm a little. I know you weren't here
I was a
earlier.
winner. I never compared to Shammy.
Wait, what?
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. Continue.
No, you're good. What about me?
Oh, I was just reading Crimson saying if I'm a wiener, I'll never be able to compare to Shammy.
Are you saying that because I have a big wiener?
No, you have a small fucking wiener.
No, the fuck I don't.
Yes, I've seen it. It's small.
No, you haven't.
I've seen it. You slapped me in the face with it.
I didn't slap you in the face. I slapped you on the tongue with it.
You'll be like, hey, where's my pirate content at? And then smack me with your tiny fucking wiener.
Okay.
And
Anyway,
it feels
so.
like a needle. It feels like I'm getting my shots. You know what I mean?
Anyways, I know you weren't here earlier, Anna, so I'm just gonna say it. I'm still sicky, and I'm probably gonna be very low energy for the next few streams before Sabaton. But I'm doing really good. Just being here and being able to hang out with you guys has already what's it called? Has already made me feel a lot better. But yeah, how are you? How's your day?
Medical wiener.
Jeremy has a
Agree
small
with zero.
PP.
Shammy has
You guys are getting it wrong.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And
You
she
guys are getting it wrong.
squeezes that sack. She's like a mosquito. She
Who
comes
fucking
in
left?
and fucking pokes you to the wiener and then squeezes her sack.
Muddy left.
Fucking unleashes the juices. I think it was Muddy's time to get off. He's got like
No.
a off time he's got to get off at.
No.
So it is what it is. It is what it is. Alright, well, I'm gonna do a medium map and do another one. I don't think anybody's joining.
Okay.
What I will. Aw, thanks.
Okay. Take a little
I don't want to be on Shammy's team anymore.
Well, fuck you, bitch.
Just saying. Just saying. Normally, I'm on the team that wins, so, you know.
Yeah, I really do appreciate it, Anna. I don't know what to say because I wasn't expecting it, and oh my god, I'm crushing. Hello?
Crimson. Hello.
Can you guys hear me?
No one can hear you until we get in the game.
Okay, there we go. I crashed for a minute. What the fuck? Wait, am I not? Am I not? Renchi, can you hear me on Discord? I'm not in the game.
Cheese.
It's not letting me join any team. I think I might have to rejoin. Fuck. Okay, hold on. It says it's full or has already started. Renji?
Oh shit, we have to start a new lobby because Poppy fucked this shit up.
I didn't fucking do shit!
Fucked it up.
My god. But yeah, that really means a lot to me, Anna. It really does. I'm still speechless because I don't know what to say other than thank you. It really means a lot to me. I just didn't expect it. But just you guys being here with me already makes my return be so special. Can hear you? Okay. That's what I could ever ask for. Hi, honey. How are you? Hi.
Who are we missing? We're missing Crams. That's who we're missing.
Cram. Ah!
Crimso.
Cream.
Where are you?
That was kind of creepy.
I'm just reading what Space said. Where's the code? There you go.
What happened?
So we're trying to get Crimson in. There we go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh. My game crashed.
Please don't. Oh my god. Yeah,
My game
this
crashed.
is. You fucked it up. You done fucked it up, Renji. I think everybody fucking crashed. Are you guys, but am I, is it me?
One more time.
I'm just gonna close my game and reopen it, because I don't know what the fuck's happening. Oh, fuck. Shit's breaking. Yay! Sorry, I'm not trying to joke, I'm sorry. Oh my god, I keep breaking. I don't know if you saw, but in my Twitter account, I was planning to delete that one and move on to a new one. So in case you see a new follow with the name Anata, that is still me, just so you know. Just letting you know. Okay, okay. Why are you deleting that one? Did they hack it? Did someone hack you? Is it still the same lobby number?
Nope, I posted a new one.
Okay. Okay, I just saw it. Copy. What the fuck? There we go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh my god,
Yay.
Becky.
We're gonna start
Have
this
you seen her
lobby.
butt?
Oh my
What's wrong with the
God.
size? There's nothing
I've
wrong with
never
the
done this game
size.
mode before.
What game mode is it?
Well, we'll see.
Brother man.
Never done this
I'm a
game mode
wizard.
before. So we'll see what happens.
Na, 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 na.
Starting game.
Oh, Discord.
Oh.
There have been a previous back attempt, but I just felt like I haven't felt satisfied with that due to certain reasons. For the rest is staying the same. It's just, oh, okay. I mean, I understand. Bro, I just spawned in! Is this a free-for-all? Fireball. Fireball. Oh my god, I'm gonna kill myself. Fireball. Fireball. What? Oh my god. Oh my game. Oh my god. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my god. Hold on. Is that good? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Thank you. Thank you, Anna, for telling me. We should be good now. I hope.
Magic missile.
Magic missile.
You put your robe in your wizard hat, Harry. I love Harry Potter.
Can you burn me? Wait, can I burn you?
He was. Oh. Your voice belows from mountain tops? What does that mean?
Divine light.
Magic missile.
Fireball.
Fireball.
I'm gonna burn them.
Get
burned.
Freeze.
Get burned. Get burned. Get burned.
Fireball.
Get burned. Get burned.
Fireball.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
God damn it.
I wanted to use fireball.
Freeze.
Weapon. Yeah. Get burned. Shit me.
Ah!
Stop touching me! Magic missile!
Freeze.
Toasty.
Freeze.
Fireball.
No, don't do it.
What the
Fireball.
Toasty lizard.
I actually don't know where my stuff
Stay away from me!
Give me your book.
Ah!
On your I don't think
Give it. Freeze. Give it.
I don't have my book anymore.
Fireball.
Fireball.
Ah!
Give me your
Ah!
2 for 1. Let's go.
Lucia, you can't fight and you fucking joining, bitch. Fuck.
Magic missile.
Fireball.
Damn.
All those kills, man. All those kills.
Oh my god.
About 34 Spencer.
Oh my god. Oh. Sorry, I was yawning. Not yet, motherfucker. I got a frog sword. I could not steal items. You stole my fucking book, bitch. You gon' get it. Listen, man, I'm a supreme Archmagus. I made a oopsie on the flag. B. Oh my god, I love this song so much, guys. I love this song. Where's my water, by the way? I lost my water. Fuck.
By the way, this might be my last one for the night. Because I do have work in the morning.
Motherfucker.
I'm sorry, I have a job.
You're not sorry.
I apologize. I'd much
okay.
rather play this with y'all longer than go to work.
I know. It's okay.
We're starting up.
I was making the lesbian flag.
Oh, you were? I was making.
Yeah.
I was making an iguana.
Huh?
Okay, so let me see the map. You can hold Q to see the map. Is there any catacombs? Because there's Excalibur. We can try to get Excalibur.
Okay, there we go.
Either way, let me get this stuff straight.
How do I let go? There we go. My book! There you go.
There you go. Oh, sorry. If you want.
No, you're good. Go ahead. I don't even know what I'm gonna be making.
Do you want soup?
Yes. Oh, what kind of soup is that?
Mushroom soup.
Your joints feel like rubber.
Jump.
Hey, yo. Oh! Oh, shit! Whee!
So I put this down here so that way we can jump over our
Oh! Oh, that's so fun. Wait, are my limbs going to be like this for the rest of the game?
I think for a limited amount of time.
Aw, man. I'm just fucking jumping on the trampoline in the backyard of my mom's house.
You're a dork.
Hey, yo. Isaac killed himself.
The warlocks have captured the
Oh my
Give me an
god.
ingredient, and I'll make you a powerful magical
You bitch.
fruit.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the baddest of them all? Yes.
The sorcerers
Yes.
have captured the crystal
Yes.
caverns.
Yes. You know, if I could, yes. If I could, I would literally break you. Yes!
A sorcerer has been slain.
Whoa.
Oh, hi.
Hi. I don't know what we're doing. Oh, what is that? Can we die if we fall in there? Space.
Yeah.
Can we die? If we fall in there?
Far down.
It sounds like the thing from Minecraft.
missile.
The warlocks have captured
Freeze.
the crystal caverns.
I don't know what the fuck we're doing. I don't see anybody.
The sorcerers have captured the crystal caverns.
What? Oh my god.
Have captured the warlock's base.
Wait, what? Oh, a mushroom. Bro. And we can't stop. And we won't stop. Anybody down, don't he down? But the daddy died up all the night. And we. Wait, isn't that their castle? Hi, Slimy. I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm supposed to do. I guess just go through here. Oh! Oh! Fireball. I'm gonna die. I don't think I'm supposed to be here. Am I? I can't see shit. I can't see shit. I don't know if I'm supposed to be here. Fireball. Fucking bitch. I can't see shit! Bro. Thank you very much. Oh no. Wait, what? I don't know the way out. Shit. Oh fuck. I don't know.
So the point, not the point, but what we do in the game, Fireball.
Fireball. What the fuck was I, coño?
What we do in the game is we collect flags to make our...
Rock.
Fireball.
I just killed myself.
Magic missile.
I can't see shit. Oh, that looks so pretty. Hello?
Hi.
What happened?
You killed yourself.
Well, I know that.
Well, that's what happened. Here's your...
No, you can keep it.
Page. Okay. But what we're trying to do in the game is we try and collect flags to make our spells hurt other people more.
Oh? How do you find them?
They're in each different biome. So this crystal thing, it's at the very bottom.
Oh, how do you get back up though?
Fireball.
Fireball.
You don't. Yeah, he ran away.
No way. Where's space?
I fell.
What is that? What is this? Fireball.
Oh, that's one of the carriers. They carry the items from the caverns to your house.
Can you kill them?
You can, and they actually drop the item they're carrying.
I don't see it.
Oh, it's right there. It's the little crystal on the ground.
What is that?
That's my guy. It's Armando.
His name's Armando.
Yeah.
Look at this little one. No, we're not winning. I don't even know what's happening.
Ew, stop spitting at me. Stop farting.
Where are you guys? Hello? Hello?
Shammy, did you just go through my portal?
Yeah, but I don't know where the fuck I'm going.
Well, now you're going up to the place that really sucks.
Ah, it's fucking me! It's fucking me!
That hit you?
How am I supposed to stay warm up here, bro? Oh! Ah! I'm gonna die! I don't know what the fuck is happening. What the fuck? Alright, hold on. I think I have an idea. You grab this. I can't. Grab it. What the fuck? I don't know. I don't know. But there's a flag over there. I'm gonna get it. Oh! Oh, shit! Yeah! How do I grab it? How do I... How do I grab it? I don't know how to... Fireball? I'm so confused. I don't know what the fuck is happening here, man. I'm just gonna go back. I guess that's ours now? I think... Yeah. Yeah, I think it's ours. Oh my god, please don't kill me. Oh! Oh, let's fucking go. Yeah. Shit. Oh shit, the swamp! Ugh! What was that? What is that? Oh! Yeah! I just saw music rhythms are gone. No, they're not. They should still be in there. They're still in there. Oh my god, please. I'm gonna die. Please. Get me up. Get me up. Why can't I get up? There we go. Okay, what the fuck? Get me up again. Please. Bro. I can't see shit. I'm stuck. Like, I'm actually fucking stuck. I'm actually fucking stuck. There's no fucking way, dude. That's fucking unfortunate. Hello?
Hi. How do I get in there?
Watch out.
Lightning bolt.
I got a few.
Lightning bolt.
What the fuck?
Thunderbolt.
Can I go home? Yo.
What's happening?
I think I got 2 flags.
Fireball.
Don't be a bitch. Where are you?
Oh, is Shammy here?
Fireball.
Good job, Shammy. Getting flags.
Fireball.
Whoa!
Divine light.
Don't be a little bitch and heal yourself.
Fireball.
Oh my god.
Thunderbolt.
Freeze. Fireball.
Magic missile.
Bro, what the frick? I can't even see where the fuck you guys are. Oh, I see you, you little shit! Fireball. Motherfucker.
Divine light.
Thunderbolt. Fireball.
I almost killed myself.
0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. This guy?
Where the frick is Renji?
He's in the back.
Oh, of course he will be, because he's a little bitch! Fireball. Oh wait, that's not...
Fireball.
Fuck! Fireball.
Freeze.
Yo, 2 against 1!
Fireball.
Fireball.
Renji, keep it, keep it.
A warlock has been slain.
Fuck.
Freeze. Fireball.
A warlock has been slain.
Wormhole. Wormhole. Wormhole.
Fireball.
Oh. Oh crap. Freeze. 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 Freeze.
Fuck me.
Fireball.
God
Fireball.
damn it.
Did I do it? I think I did it.
Fireball.
Fireball.
Nice.
Missile. Fireball.
Oh.
It's fucking little.
Fireball.
Freeze. Fireball. Missile. Missile. Fireball.
Freeze.
Freeze.
Me cago en ti!
Stand there and look pretty. Missile.
I'm gonna die!
Missile.
Freeze. Yeah, bitch! Yeah!
Oh.
Nice. Oh my god. Isaac, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Oh my god. I didn't mean to kill you earlier. I didn't mean to kill you earlier. No! Fireball.
Freeze.
Let's try.
Magic missile.
Magic missile. Magic missile. Magic missile.
Freeze.
Me cago.
Fireball. Fireball.
Vine light.
Freeze.
Vine light.
Magic missile.
Magic missile.
Magic missile.
What is that over here? Oh, that's Cedo's thing, I think.
A sorcerer has been slain. Warlocks have captured the sorcerer's base.
No.
Freeze.
That's our teammate, Zero.
Freeze.
Oh, is it?
Fireball.
Oh god.
I'm sorry.
Freeze.
Fireball.
Vine light.
Magic missile.
Ooh, needed that. Magic
Fireball.
missile. Fireball.
Fireball.
Missile.
God damn it.
Magic missile. Okay, they have our base, we have their base. Cool.
Holy hell, that's Excalibur.
Dang. You got this.
And light.
Oh, thank you.
You got this.
Problem is, if I go back there, they're gonna get me though.
Dude. I can't even see your health bar.
I'm gonna walk so that they get annoyed and then they come back here or something.
Dude, you need to heal yourself. I don't know if they can hear me when I'm dead. Ay, fuck.
Can I just teleport and just go with it and just cut it with it? Why not? Let's just do that. Why not? That's the power.
Oh. Nice. Nice, nice, nice.
He didn't expect that, huh?
What the fuck is this?
I grabbed these creatures, I don't know what is this.
Oh, if you hit someone.
Fireball!
Magic missile.
Freeze.
Magic missile! Magic missile!
Fireball.
Fireball! Fireball! Fireball!
Fireball.
Magic missile.
Freeze!
Fireball.
Freeze!
Me cago en la crica. Where's my...
Fireball!
Find light. Fireball.
Fuck.
Freeze.
Please, I don't have a book.
Missile. Fireball. Fireball.
Freeze.
Freeze.
Fireball.
Missile.
Fuck.
Fireball.
Fireball.
What the fuck?
I'm so fucking tired of you, Zach. Holy shit.
Damn.
Fireball.
Whoa.
Freeze.
No. No.
What's happening? Fireball! Fireball!
Magic missile.
Me one. Magic missile! Magic missile! Magic missile!
Freeze.
What?
No.
Oh my god. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna choose such a annoying little voice to do that. Oh my goodness, that's a better kill death ratio for me. Oh
Dang.
my goodness, Zero.
Alright, I'm gonna play again. So, if y'all want to keep going, you're more than welcome to. But I'm gonna call it a night. I'm working for me. Love you, Zach, even though you're fucking bitch with that fucking Excalibur.
He was
y'all
doing
already know.
great, man. You were being a little bitch.
Yeah, well, you fucking lost, so I want to hear from you.
I know I lost. I'm tired and I didn't still fuck you, little bitch.
You want to keep giving
Bitch boy.
excuses? You want to keep giving excuses?
Bitch boy.
I'm almost gonna Excalibur you and thank you.
Wait, what?
Never mind. I'm just not gonna say what I was. I was not gonna say what I was thinking.
I love you too, Space. This game is really fun. We need to play when we're all like energized a little more.
Get some
I'm
energy,
gonna.
damn it.
Yeah, where the fuck am I gonna get it from? From the fucking holes on my ass?
Yes. Sweet. Thank you. Alright, we're gonna raid Shammy. Love y'all. Be safe. Bye-bye.
No, what? What? No. What the fuck? Motherfucker. Grr. 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 Namang grr. Okay. Grr. Can you give me a grr? Give me a grr. No, I'm talking to the fucking wall.
Okay, that's what I thought. I knew you weren't speaking to me in that tone of voice.
Give me a fucking grr.
I'm sorry. Who are you talking to?
I'm back.
Welcome back, Jack. This bitch, man. This bitch. I can't. Good night, Mama. I miss you so much. But have a good night. I love you. And Renji, thank you so much for the raid. And thank you for playing with me today. I'm sorry for stealing you away from your plans.
What are you sorry for? Oh, yeah, no problem. I was just going to do Final Fantasy X, so it's all good.
I know. Yeah, I know you like Final. Ah! Yeah.
Me too, Cretton. I want to know how to learn how to roll my R's too.
Yeah, of course, Anna. I don't mind. Evil Renji's mom. I'm looking too. Night. Good night. I want to learn how to roll my R so badly. All you do is you put your tongue on top of the mouth, right? And it will be kind of like saying D very, very fast. But like faster than that. And then you just let the tip of your tongue vibrate against your mouth. And you just yeah, and that's how you do it. Dame un brr, un qué, un brr. Give me un brr. That's perfect.
Yeah, I don't think it's working.
Hello, Ellie is at the door. Let her in.
I got too much
Ellie's
white.
sleeping.
This is why we conquered your people. Anyways.
What?
Nothing.
You know what I meant, Anna. Say tada over and over, faster and faster. You have to go faster than that.
Am I rolling my R's now?
No,
Mom,
you're
are you
not.
proud of me?
You're also not going fast enough. Faster doesn't mean higher doesn't mean faster.
Jazz hands.
Oh my god. I fucking love that.
That's how you eat and perform cunnilingus.
I miss JoJo's. I need to watch more JoJo's.
You suck.
Part 6 is supposed to come out soon. Or part 7.
Part 7. I know. I can't wait.
Yeah, I can't wait for horse riding for Jesus to beat the President of the United States of America.
That's not on part 7.
That is part 7.
Hello? This is a message coming in from below your crotch from someone that looks green and cloudy. Oh, wait, Anna. Anyways, he says he wishes you to have a good time and be a happy iguana, and he loves you.
I love you too, Anna. Oh my god. But no, are you talking about Funny Valentine?
Yeah.
He's not in
the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
He is not in part 7.
He is.
No, the fuck he's not.
Yes, he is. What are you talking about?
Oh my! I'm about to fucking Google this shit.
I'm
Not the fucking Google it. I'm Googling it.
Is Funny Valentine in part 7, Steel Ball Run. Suck my fat cock.
Oh. Okay, well, I thought it was a different one.
How am I gonna forget a president who has the scar of the American flag on his back? Are you fucking serious? Does that not say, hell yeah, brother, America?
Okay, but hear me out, motherfucker.
I'm hearing you out.
Wait, who the fuck is that? That is not me. What the fuck is that?
America.
America. Oh my god. Is it?
I'm gonna go to bed.
What?
I have
The
work in the morning.
Okay, sorry. I was letting the thing finish.
Oh, you're good.
So tell me,
Hell yeah, brother. Go big, go home. Yeehaw!
America.
I fucking love America.
before
Hell
the-
yeah, Bruder. Go big or go home.
America. You said America. Not America. I'm gonna go eat the hand with a curse on it. No, you're not.
I'm sorry, Anita, but when it starts saying bark, 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 I'm just gonna talk. Because I need to go to bed. But
Okay,
I am
go to
gonna
bed.
say, leave y'all with this. Love y'all, be safe. Hey, if you have a Twitch Prime, this is a perfectly good stream to use it on. Love y'all, be safe. Bye-bye.
I love you. What the fuck?
I love Zia so much. Sahami use the best yo like MWAH.
What? What? What the frick? What was that? Oh my god. Guys, Queso is live. Oh my god. Y ya me ha pasado que no me he abandonado. Y ya me ha pasado que me han abandonado. Y ya me ha pasado. Yes.
Meow, motherfucker.
Oh my god. Huh? It just went silent. Wait, huh? I don't know why it's doing that. But okay, anyway. I don't know why it's doing that. Jack, forayunque fall in your head? What? Is it me or I can't hear it? Can you guys hear it? Guys, I love this song. Oh my god.
Jacker Farayunka fall in your jet.
I can lift you up. I can show you what you wanna see and take you where you wanna be. You can be my love. Even when the tide is daddy die, I don't know the fucking E words. Be safe and sound. I can feel your cock. What? You can be my cock. What? Safe and sound. Safe and sound. While I'm not. Yes, princess. Can you say America and roll the R? America. America, yeah. Hello, hello, hello. Or did you want me to say more dramatically, like America? Alright, are we done? God damn it. I'm fucking dying. I need Uno. I know. When can we play Roblox again? I know. I want to play Uno again so bad. I'll play Roblox. I'm thinking about what to do now because I kind of want to stay a little longer, but I'm tired and I'm starting to feel a little sick. And I have to wake up early tomorrow. So I'm kind of like, I want to stay here and just talk to you guys. You know? We can just chill and talk. We can yap. We can yap away about things and stuff about life. Or, you know, we could just end it all here and who knows when I'll be back.
Guys, for tourists for what kind of bus?
What?
For that Harry.
Does he have a cock in his mouth? Wait, what? What? What happened? Oh, I'm snoozing that. What the fuck? Let's jab. You guys like when I jab? Always put yourself first, me. Oh, it's true, but I just miss you guys. Show me if you're feeling alright. Would you mind if I try to talk to you about sleep?
You're the Yap Queen, Shimmy.
Huh? Oh my god. Am I? Guys, if I have one problem in life, it will probably be because it will probably be that I cannot shut the fuck up. But I'm gonna be honest, I don't really talk much outside of stream. Like when I stream, and this is gonna sound kind of bad and depressing, but I guess this is where I can kind of be myself and talk about shit that I can't normally talk about, you know? Like outside of it. So I always yap a lot with you guys because I feel like I can, you know? Not saying I don't talk at all, like outside of stream, because I do, but it's just so much easier to do it here. I don't know. I'm cringe. Whiff. Shari is getting a new outfit in WWE. Let's fucking go. Except for me, because I'm already hot as fuck. Oh shit. Shami will always tell you to put yourself first. I know. I don't know. I just want to chill with you guys, you know? Just kind of catch up. And
you're not cringe. I'm gonna kick you in the balls and dick.
What the fuck? Oh shit. I gave you a new second outfit. You still have them. Okay. Good. Yeah. What have you guys been up to? It's been like what? Almost a month since I've been gone. So yeah, what have you guys been up to? I know I've been catching some of my friends' streams while I've been off. So I've seen you guys a lot of the times in their streams and stuff like that, and honestly makes me really happy that you guys are still willing to support my friends on streaming and stuff when I'm not around, and that makes me really happy. But also outside of that, or other than that, what else have you guys been up to lately? I've just been chilling. Hell yes, you should. I've been playing a lot of DBD using the killer Reese. Gorilla, you got a new name. Oh my gosh. When Gorilla came out as the fucking, like, I don't know, do you want me to spoil it? I can't say it. I won't say it until you say if it's good or not to say. But I was surprised. I was like, what the fuck? There's no way that this is not Gorilla, you know? That wasn't him as a gorilla? Huh?
Give me your balls, Shamey.
¿Por qué? Cabrón. Fuck you. God damn it. Motherfucker. I'm snoozing at me. Stop! You're not gonna do it a second time. And clearly you're not gonna do it a third time, motherfucker. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. You're right out of your luck, motherfucker. You're not doing it again. It almost got me, I'm not gonna lie. It almost got me. Oh, fuck. Oh my god. Dude, the thing is that I'm sitting so close to the monitor because, like, when I talk to you guys, I like to get closer. I don't know how to explain. Like, literally, like, face to face, you know? So that shit scared the fuck out of me, dude. If you want, I can do some download after stream and show off the new outfits. I probably won't do it tonight.
I'm gonna eat your balls, Shamey.
I probably won't be able to do anything tonight after stream because, like I said, I have to wake up early tomorrow and I have stuff to do. I'm not sure. Like, okay, I should have waited to stream. I'm gonna be honest with you guys because I streamed today, but I don't know if I'll be able to stream either tomorrow or Thursday, Friday. I don't know if I'll be able to stream until the weekend. I hope that when you brush your teeth, your fucking brush is full of fucking excreta, cabrón. Fuck you.
I love how after you screamed and got scared, your model just started spinning from the goosebumps. Jump scare.
It's cause I fucking jump to the side, dude. I don't know why I've always done it. Like I've always got scared like that. Like I jump to the side and kind of like sit back. I love you too, Space. Welcome back, Asmo. Asmo, you... Respectfully, you're a bitch. You missed playing with us. You missed playing with us. Hopefully next time you can join us, though.
Royce Shark asked me, ¿puedes darme un brr? Brr. Ay, cariño, con ese frío me dan ganas de bailar para entrar en calor. ¿Qué tal una salsa para animarnos?
I'm gonna get rid of her. I'm gonna get rid of her at this point. I'm gonna get rid of her at this point. Because what the fuck? That is disgusting. Hey! What the fuck? That's so... Oh my god. Guys, AI Shami has no fucking chill. She has no chill. Oh my god. Corona. The game just finished downloading.
Jack 136 asked me, "Are you stupid?" Ay, cariño, this shamey might be a little loco and spicy, but never stupid. Just here for the laughs, chaos, and a good time with all of you wild ones in chat. Keep bringing that energy.
Please, I'm not spicy. Stop it.
Asked me, from all the current viewers, who do you prefer? My favorite is like picking my favorite taco. Impossible. Every single one of you adds your own spice and chaos to the mix, and I love you all for it. Just keep bringing that wild energy, and I'll so jiggling with laughter. Let's keep the fiesta going, amigos.
I'm gonna get rid of her.
Anata no Sewa asked me,
why am I...
Tell me what you need to do to prevent the fry liver attack or counter it. Hi, cariño. In a game where you're dealing with a fry liver attack, you usually want to focus on evasion and timing. Keep moving to avoid getting caught, and watch for openings
why is it
counter attack when your
why am I breathing like that?
Leaves themselves vulnerable. Remember to keep your resources in check and use any defensive abilities you have. Stay alert and ready to react, and you'll dodge that spicy attack like a pro.
Every day she starts not sounding like me at all.
Cross Shark asked me, why are you spicy? Cariño, being spicy is just part of my charm. It's like having a little extra kick in your personality, bringing all that sass, chaos, and wild energy to the party. Just like adding a dash of hot sauce to a dish. It gives what
the fuck? I think she goes, bro, she's on
things from getting too bland. Let's keep things fun and fiery together.
Oh my god. What the fuck? I don't know if I like her anymore.
Anata no Sewa asked me, cool story, but you didn't understand the task. Stupid. Tranquilo, cariño. Let's clear things up. If you need tips for the fry liver attack, remember to focus on evasion and timing. Keep moving, watch for openings, and counterattack when your opponent is vulnerable. Stay alert,
what is she on about?
And use defensive abilities. Got you covered. If there's anything else you need, just let me know.
Okay, what the fuck? What's your question?
Crosscheck asked me, can you restart? You talking a bit restarted? Carino, it's just the shamey way to sprinkle in a little chaos and spice.
Oh,
but no worries, let's shake it up and keep things rolling smoothly. What do you need help with? Let's keep the party going.
Girl, shut the fuck up. Please, just shut the fuck up. Can you say, I want a clip? Start digging in your own butt, twin?
Anata no Sewa asked me. Stop talking about the fry liver attack
Wait.
if you don't even understand what I'm referring to. Now stop talking like that before the real Shamai gets rid of you. I got you. No more fry liver talk. I'll switch gears and keep it spicy in a new way.
No,
let's keep the chaos and fun alive, just like the real Shami would want. What's next on your mind, Carino?
Stop! Stop saying Carino like that. What the fuck? I don't like you. I don't like you. Start digging in your butt, twin. Do you want me to say SD bitte? Or did you want me to say, like, start digging in your butt, twin? And how do you want me to do it? I'll do it for you. I'll give you a show. I'll give you a show. Better than I don't know. I'm gonna change this real quick. Hold on. Da, na, 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 na. Dude, this fucking playlist, it was good earlier, and now it's just... That's a good one. But I'm gonna do this. You know, it's not a bad song, but I should have kept the last one. Fuck. No! Oh my god!
Ian Cross the Shark asked me, Carino, is that all the spice you got? That's mild. You need to step up. I mean, Carino, you want more spice? No te preocupes. I'm coming in hot like a jalapeno on a mission. Let's crank up the heat and get wild. Vamos a bailar con fuego. What do you want to dive into? Chaos, laughs, or maybe a little dancing fiesta. I'll keep it loco and caliente just for you.
What the fuck? Start digging in your butt, twin. Look at the uppercase letters. SD in
butt, twin.
Huh? Wait. SD Steen Stibitte? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Say it, start digging in your butt and say it's zesting. What the fuck? What are you trying to... What the fuck?
No Sewa asked me, con calma nena, yo quiero ver cómo ella hace el boom boom girl. Ay, cariño, tú sabes que aquí mantenemos el ritmo bien picante y lleno de energía. Ese boom boom es el alma de la fiesta. Así que vamos a seguir bailando y pasándola bien. Dale que este party no se acaba.
Bro, what the frick? I can't. I don't know how do you say it's zesty? Like, hey yo, like, this AI is going to turn into an 18 bop. Bro, I'm gonna get rid of her before that happens. She made a reference too? Okay, I forgive her now. Oh my god. No, please. Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna say that. It has to come naturally, you know? It has to come naturally. It has to come genuine, okay? So give me one moment and maybe I'll give it to you, okay? Tra. Are you guys excited about my debut for my model? Dude, I want to use it so bad. Like literally right here, right now. All I have to do is one click and I change. Oh my God, please, let me, please. Please. I'm gonna be honest, guys. It's not even gonna fucking... It doesn't even have many, that much fucking toggles. It doesn't have many toggles because I'm poor. For one. For two, it's just like a little, it's just, I don't know. I don't know.
Crossshark asked me, last question, do you watch 18+ anime? Short answer, yes or no. Don't come at me with that extra spicy stuff that we don't care. Ay, cariño. Nope, I keep it spicy.
No,
but
that's
not that way.
fucking bullshit. What the fuck? I'm getting rid of her. I'm gonna redo it again all over. New personality, new everything. This bitch don't know what she's talking about. Indeed, the preview looked super cool. I hope you guys really like it. I just don't want to disappoint you guys, man. Because there's like really not much to it. You know, it's just a model. It's got a few toggles. I think it's cute. I love it because I love... Yes, I can't... I don't know why I'm like restraining myself from saying what it is because you guys already kind of already know what it is. It's a Powerpuff Girl model. So yeah, I hope I also don't get fucking copyrighted because I'm like probably the only VTuber that has a model inspired by the Powerpuff Girls. So Grace! Hi Grace, how are you? Hi! How are you? But yeah, I'm really excited. And it's gonna be exciting and I can't wait. I don't know if I want to keep the goals as a surprise for you guys or if I should share it and ask you guys like what we could do instead of one of the things I added, if that makes sense. Could be considered fan art. I mean, technically, you know, actually, I don't think I'll get copyrighted because there's like this, what's it called? These generators where you can create your own Powerpuff Girl character. So technically, it's not copyright, you know? Se puede, no, no. Dice que no me quiere, pero siempre vuelve conmigo. Y así no se puede, no, no. Él lento, despacio, baja hasta el espacio. Le hago cositas bien ricas. Cuando me puso tu cuerpo, salí de todo planeta cielo. Eres pura seducción, droga pa' mi corazón, baby. Oh, no, no, no. Así, así, como mi mano te toca, darte muchos besitos en la mua, mua. La mí me provoca, my baby, te voy pa' ponerte loca. La pasión que nos sofoca. Okay, I'm done. Chummy, I'm getting excited for you tomorrow. I'm excited too. I just want to use her so bad. Now I'll give you the perfect... Hold on. I'll give you the perfect music to fall asleep to. Give me 1 second. Let me find it. Let me... Wait. I forgot the name of it. Never mind. God damn it. Damn it. Yeah, never mind. I forgot. I found it. I found it. I found it. I found it. Yeah.
Crossark asked me, Juan tuvo un tubo y el tubo que tuvo se le rompió. Para Juan tener el tubo que tuvo que hacer? Ay, cariño, Juan tuvo que hacer un lío para reparar el tubo roto o consiguió uno nuevo. Tal vez se las ingenió para pegarlo con cinta adhesiva o buscar un reemplazo. Lo importante es que su tubería vuelva a estar en orden. Quizás le puso un poco de salsa picante para que quedara más fuerte. Nunca se sabe.
We got a little crazy, but we never got caught. Down by the river on a Friday night. Private matters cancel, pile of one night. Talking about a rose and dreaming about women. Never had a plan, just living on the money. Hey! Never had a Gucci, never knew about been to me. Guys, I think my ultimate Sailor Moon my ultimate Sailor Moon what's it called, transformation will be me bald as a potato. I'm not a good singer. I don't know, I'm getting rid of her. The new Demon Slayer game is out. I don't even know there's one. I'm not a true weeb. Turn into a country daddy, hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother man. This is my this is my my southern boy accent partner. I fucking hate myself. I hate myself. Yeah, I forgot the yeehaw. Oh my god. I can't. But yeah, I don't know what else to talk about. Like, I want to hang out with you guys, but I don't know what I want to talk about, you know? See? Oh, I forgot to change my category. Holy shit. Oh, guys. Oh my god. Okay. I don't want to talk much about it because, again, this is going to be another surprise. But I think my debut album, it's not going to be 6 songs anymore. It's going to have 8 songs. So, yeah. I need EP. Night night, everyone. Oh my god, that's spicy. I love you so much, princess. Have a good night. I'd tuck you in bed if I was there. Tell me, when will you get the real Who's Your Daddy? I've already had it. But the time I got it, nobody was playing it. So like the servers were dead. I haven't streamed since my streamathon, and life has just been handing my ass to me. Dude, same. Literally, this past month has been horrible. Oh, I'm gonna be honest. It's been so fucking bad. I gotta do my thing. Thank you for the stream. Happy to hear your lovely music. Thank you so much, Asmo. I hope that I can get to see you again. And hopefully, next time, you can play with us. I really want to play with you. Who's Your Daddy's crossplay? Let's play. I don't know if I'll play it right now, but I'm so down. Dude, there's so many games I want to play with you guys. I want to play Uno. We can play that. We have a Mario Party. Eventually, once I get it, or we can all get it somehow, then we can play it together. Oh yeah, game is downloaded and ready to play for next time. Let's go. Yes. I'm so excited. Dude, that game is so fun. I'm just fucking tired. You know? Okay. Oh my god! Sorry. Okay. Anyways. So... no. Can you not do that? No. Thank you very much. Alright. I would see whose lives that I can raid. I don't think... let me see. Let me just peek. Let me just peek. But yeah, I'm really happy I'm back. And I appreciate you guys being here with me and spending some time with me. I know it was kind of a short stream and kind of low energy, you know. But please bear with me. I'm probably gonna be very, very out of it at least for the first few streams. And then it'll be back to normal. And we'll go hard for what's left of this year, or so I hope. But yeah, just bear with me. Sorry, I don't know why I'm gonna start crying if I keep talking. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow again, or even like Thursday, Friday. I don't know. Probably be back on the weekend before the subathon starts next week. Which, by the way, it's gonna be a week-long subathon. Because I think that's the best way I can kind of like disperse it. And yeah, I love you guys so much. I miss you, and yeah, just while I'm not around and still dipping my toes back into streaming, don't forget to support my friends. Don't forget to show them some love while I'm gone. Don't forget that the Discord server that we have, it's not only there for me, guys. It's also there for you guys to hang out with each other. I don't have to be in the voice chat for you guys to hang out with each other in it, okay? Just be there for each other and with each other, you know? That's the reason why one of the reasons why I really want to build a community. So just keep that in mind. I'll keep you guys updated on the Discord of when I'll be streaming next time. And I'll be posting the stuff for the subathon as well, so you guys can see what's gonna be happening, what you can expect. And yeah. I don't know. I love Suri, but I think I'm gonna raid. We're gonna raid Lucy. Wait, hold on. Dude, there's so many people. Oh my god. Fuck it. We're gonna raid Lucy tonight. Because I haven't raided him in a while. And he's playing My Hero Ultra. I'm sure you guys like My Hero Academia, right? But yeah. Let me do... I forgot to do things. I would raid Queso because I'm literally gonna go watch him. But I don't think he's allowing more streamers to do it. So fuck it. We're going to John Lucifer. Remember to drop a follow, say hi, come all over her screen or something. I don't fucking know. Do what you must to do to show some love and support, okay? And yeah, I love you guys so much. Lo amo, lo quiero, lo adoro. Y lo veré pronto en la próxima, si se permite.